Hello, hello. How is everyone doing this beautiful Wednesday? Hello, Entitled, Spirit Noodle, Slayer, Griswo, first time chatter, nice to have you here. PT, good afternoon. Zero Skills and Freaks, and Davinator, how's it going? Just 1 second. Diego, how are you? Oh, good evening, Slayer. Safwa? Yeah, we got a few new emotes approved. I think I'm just waiting on one or maybe 2 or 3 more to be approved, but we're almost there now. Hey, Dragonite, how are you? I'm doing well. Pretty good. I slept pretty well. Can't complain. There we are. Hey, Dawn Enjoyer. Yeah, I don't want to annoy people by putting notifications on YouTube or videos on YouTube for every single stream I do, but I think... Hey, Oblivion, how's it going? Yeah, we got the no emote. Anyone who follows me on Twitter knows that I love that one. How's it going, Thousand Arrows? Animated emotes. So I've got some BTTV ones that are implemented, like Cat Jam and things like that. But aside from those, I don't have any right now. Maybe later. I haven't really been I don't know, I haven't looked into animated ones that much, but the ones I've got right now I'm pretty happy with. Oh, cool, Davinator. Perfect timing. Asgore, yeah. Yeah, the Asgore one. Yeah, no, I do post in the community tab, Spirit Noodle. The thing is, though, like, YouTube does not promote that to everyone. I've tested this out. It goes out to about, like, 10 to 20% of subs a lot of the time. So sometimes, like, once in a week, once every 2 weeks or so, I'll do a full video up until now. But I'm going to stop pretty soon because, I mean, I've got almost 2,000 followers on Twitch. By the way, thank you, everyone, for following. Moro, Mean Kills, Chacky Master, and Golden Locks, thanks for the follows. I've got a pretty strong, like, almost 2,000 followers now, so at this point I don't think it's really necessary. But this may be the last time, maybe next week. For Attack on Titan, I don't really need to, for sure. For top 100s, maybe once in a while, like top 100s and Final Fantasy VII Remake. Random opinion about YouTube. Okay, so... hold on. Hello, Mayuk. Got one more exam, then you can chill for a bit. Nice. Hey, Suspect Spine. Vehement, how are you? Finally got the stream. Cool. In that case, Rob. You're not welcome. What's up, John Bams? New goal, as in new sub goal, you mean, freaks? Yeah, YouTube's really weird with the community tab. Like, it definitely goes out to a portion of your subscribers, but not a ton. Okay. How's it going? Let's go. And thanks for the follows again. So, random opinion about YouTube. Well, isn't that one? The community tab thing? I'll do another one, though. As people start to settle in here and we start the top 100, I have a few things to say before we get into it. Or one thing to say, really. Actually, two. So, YouTube. Let's see. I have a few. I mentioned the last time I was talking about, like, people who like your videos but constantly say negative thing. Another thing is that, like, people always ask me about making videos. How's it going, Shadow Lightning? It's so hard to earn these points to make you watch Naruto. Hey, it's not supposed to be easy, right? Would you react to today's Nintendo Direct? That's way later today, and I'm going to be busy at that time, so no. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern, as far as I remember. So that's a bit too late for me. But I would have liked to. Is there a way to see your list up until now? Yes, there is. Here, you don't need to see my face in HD, or not HD, but close up. Here, 1 second. Sorry about that. Here. So this is the beginning of it. Hey, Abastia. First stream I'm going to have to miss. We'll watch the VOD later. No problem, Zenon. So here, this is the beginning of it. And you'll notice a new one right here. I'll talk about that in a second. So the random YouTube thing is people like to ask me a lot of the time how long it takes to make one video. But, you know, my videos vary in terms of length and complexity of topic and all sorts of things. So it's really contextual. There is no one answer fits all for that. Like the Attack on Titan video I released a couple of weeks ago took me 2 or 3 days to put together in entirety, because it's pretty short, it's 7 minutes, and it's a topic that I'm very well acquainted with and didn't have to take much effort to talk about, right? I could put my thoughts down very clearly and concisely without having to edit much or think much about it without being confident, right? So that was really easy. Something like the Final Fantasy VII Remake video, the 200-minute video, or the Harry Potter one, literal months, almost a year in some certain cases, because of research and replaying and rewatching, and, you know, I had copyright problems with the Harry Potter one. So there's lots of different variables. There's no one answer fits all. For whenever someone asks me that, I just say it's contextual. I have one question. Summarized in one word, One Piece. I don't know. That's not one answer, sorry, Chacky Master, but I have not. I've watched 40 episodes of it almost 7 years ago and have not gone back to it, unfortunately. It's a Metroid Prime 4? That would be cool. I'd play it. Only real ones save points for the Naruto one. I think a fun thing Twitch could let us do is to let us all pool out points so we can redeem certain things. Oh, that is OP. I think Twitch has an option similar to that. Thank you for the follows. Benatimia, Guest, Aerialist, and Professor Foxta. Thank you very much. I think Twitch, thank you Toby as well. I think Twitch might have an option similar to that, Dragonite, but I think I need to enable it. Did you ever watch that one episode of Bleach so you can then officially say that you've watched all the big three? Not yet. I will, though. How's it going, Hugs? The Harry Potter video is one of my all-time faves. Glad to hear it, John Bams. It's one of my, I think, definitely one of the best videos I've done. I'm really proud of it. Despite it being rough around the edges, I guess, in terms of audio. And now you must go walk the talk. No problem, Professor. So yeah, very cute background music. Yeah, it's a wintry Animal Crossing remix. So I'll keep it on for a bit. I think it's cute. How's it going, Shadow? Hope you're doing well. Waiting for AJ to become a Sasuke stan. Already am. Sasuke for life. Hey, Complex. Reward for 1 million points to capture to One Piece. No, there is not enough in the world. Hey, Critty. Oh, really? I've never played it. How is it? I mean, I can imagine how it is, but, I mean, is it an okay experience? It's like the demake of Breath of the Wild. It's fun, nice. Oh, okay, Hugs, no worries. No worries. I'll miss you in chat, but, I can definitely talk whenever I need to through playing Zelda and doing my top 100. And then, here, the honorable mentions, right here. So, yeah, you'll notice I added The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker to the list. I basically, holy shit, Davinator, thank you so much for gifting 5 subs. I need a new goal. I'm 126% on it. Holy shit. To Salvatore, Bernie, Suspect Spine, Dog Ninja, and Criticals. Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Davinator. Jeez, thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, I added the Wind Waker because, you know, I was kind of watching DB Geek play through it. He actually streams at the same time, so he's going through it right now. But I was watching like a VOD or a stream highlight or something, and I was just going, man, I definitely like this more than a couple of the ones on the list, so I put it ahead of Pokemon Black and White and Dark Souls 3, and it's now number 99. Just a beautiful, like, in terms of aesthetics, I think it's the Zelda that is the most timeless. Super expressive, super just fun, like, good to immerse yourself in, and just generally very comfy in all aspects. Music is wonderful. It looks great. It's got technically, I guess, the best characterized Dumbledore. Ganondorf? What the hell? Yeah, thank you again, Davinator. Super nice of you. Super generous. And Critty's got the Bokuto face now. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 down to an honorable mention. Dark Souls 3 would be 101. But yeah, I think it does a lot of things right. It's very immersive. I think its place in the Zelda timeline chronologically, in terms of release order, is very important, being like a spiritual successor to Ocarina, while also changing enough things. I don't know, I pick up everything it puts down. Well, mostly everything. And it's got my second favorite companion in the series, King of Red Lions. Yeah, the best Ganondorf. I agree, probably. I think it would, maybe not thematically, but in terms of characterization, which I think puts him ahead of everything else anyway. Probably number one. Okay, so last time we got to number 21, and then I made everyone do a prediction or a poll about what would be the next one. I told you the next two would be The Witcher video game series and Animal Crossing. And people guessed on it, and it turns out that some of you bet the points and got some back, or got more back, and some of you lost them. That's just how it goes. But The Witcher is number 20. Animal Crossing Gamecube is number 19, is how it goes. So, I guess, start with the Witcher video game series. By the way, if you guys have any questions about any of these, you can go ahead and ask them. These are the ones up until now. I showed you guys the other ones. I'll just put it on screen for a quick second. And then up to 38 here. Number one's going to be Mario Paint, of course. And then there's me, who won and got only a few points. Hey, I mean, incremental gains, right? I crying when dad chopping onions. Is this normal? Yeah, for sure. I started playing Final Fantasy VII Remake because of you. I'm having a great time. Wow, that's great to hear, Zandy. How far in are you? Thoughts on Amori? Masterpiece. It's my number 40, and the more I think about it, the better it gets. It is one of the best endings to any story I've ever seen. It is insanely beautiful, insanely striking. Like, nothing has struck me in quite the way Amori has, and I don't think anything will quite again. It is very unique, and I wouldn't say it's consistently 10 out of 10 throughout. There are dips, I think. There is some less interesting stuff. But I think it follows through and sticks the landing such that I can't have it lower than a 10 out of 10, personally. Is that Parasite the movie or the anime? The movie, the Korean movie. What is your favorite pre-1990 anime? I have not seen many at all. I guess it would be the Rose of Versailles. Rose of Versailles. Possible peak fiction Super Mario sticker star? Perhaps. Damn, Arcane. Hey, what's up, Tyke? How's it going? Damn, Arcane top 40. It's that good? Nah, I'm just lying. It's not that good. Are you a full-time content creator? No, I wish I was. That would be great. But no, part-time. Part-time YouTube analysis videos. Kind of right now, part-time reactions, and I guess part-time streaming now. Have you read any books? Oh, Game of Thrones books. Yes, I have. I have not read Kingdom. Vinland Saga and many more below SpongeBob. Kill me. I mean, Slayer. If you're that upset by my ranking, then you probably shouldn't put as much validation into it, you know? I tune into Amori praise. What does the plus mean? Here. Plus means ascending. So if there's a plus next to one, it means that it is currently in an upward momentum in my mind. The more I think about it, the more I love it. Descending is the opposite, and no symbol means that they're more or less stable. I love them, but there's no real movement at the moment. I'm trying to... okay. Gotcha, Zandy. Is Ghost in the Shell standalone complex in your honorable mentions or in the upcoming top 20? It's not in my honorable mentions. I cannot tell you if it's in the top 20 because that would be spoiling it, right? You got to stick around. Senshin, first-time chatter. Thanks for stopping by. You started an anime analysis channel on YouTube, which is inspired by our style. Cool, that's very humbling. Good luck with everything, Senshin. And then this is the last bit we've covered. Yeah, Amori definitely lingers in your head a ton long after you play it. Potentially full-time. I don't know about that one. I would love it, but I cannot see it. Well, that's why I'm diversifying, right? But you can't just focus fully on YouTube and go full-time. At least not for me. Rose of Versailles, yep. When you talk about The Witcher, can you put the Fields of Art Skelligon in the background? I don't think I have it on this computer. But I will open the YouTube video. Thanks for the follows, guys. So that's a good idea, by the way. I will do that. Can you show where... Oh, I just went through them, Oblivion. Like, I went through the list here. You can see them here. I don't want to name everyone, but... Wind Waker, Final Fantasy VIII... okay, I'll just name everyone. Wind Waker Ascending, Final Fantasy VIII Ascending, Friday Night Lights Descending, True Detective Season 1 Ascending, Megalobox Ascending, Supernatural Descending, PT Ascending, Bioshock Descending, Undertale and Deltarune Ascending, SpongeBob, Doodadada both Ascending, Majora's Mask Ascending, Amori and Arcane Ascending, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim Ascending, Final Fantasy VI Ascending. One more thing, I have a confession to make. I've been replaying Final Fantasy VI the past week or so. It is not... I had it as number 28, now it's number 26. That's one more change. Do you prefer the style of cel-animated anime to new anime, or you don't care much? I don't have a preference. If it looks good, it looks good. It's very contextual, right? Still covering till top 15 today. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I gotta actually get started. Yeah, Davinator, I don't know how I do it either, to be honest. Well, COVID means that there's some things I'm restricted to do, so I guess that helps. Yeah, John Bams, I would say so. Dynazenon in a top fiction list is based in more people should do it? Of course. I thought you didn't include franchises, but only individual works. No, that was never a thing. If there's a huge distinction between how I feel about individual works, then I do that. Like, I'll separate the Pokemon games or Zelda games or whatever, but that was never a rule or anything. Are there any more changes? Not that I know of. Don't you think the Pokemon series should at least be in your honorable mentions? No, it's in my favorites. It's in the top 100. I've got Black at 99. Or, sorry, at 100. Emeralds at... Or, sorry. Yeah, Emeralds, Ruby, Sapphire at 44. Gold and Silver, Crystal, Heart Gold, Soul Silver at 35. And one more to come, spoiler alert. Monster ascending or descending. If there's nothing next to it, it's stable, like I said. Neither ascending or descending. The first 10 hours and final dungeon of Final Fantasy VI are peak. Chihaya Furu is ending in the next few chapters. Oh, do you think that's... I haven't been keeping up with it, Shadow. Do you think that's, like, they'll be able to wrap it up adequately? Is that enough time? I read them... I watched the first season, Thousand Arrows, and then I read them afterwards. Thank you for the follows again, guys. Thank you very much. I'll start talking about them now. How do you think Oros compares to the OG? I think in terms of gameplay, it's worse. I think in terms of immersion and aesthetics, it's a nice alternate take that I think accentuates the setting. I don't think it's a downgrade that a lot of people say it is. Which number do you consider this works to be peak fiction? I don't know. I don't really classify and I don't really distinguish them that way. Maybe from it feels appropriate from like Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, and forward. Maybe top 25 or 30 or so, something like that. Okay, gotcha, Shadow. Okay. Anyway, no, I have not Shadow Lightning. I have not seen it. I have not seen Mushoku Tensei. Would you like the FF6 remake in the style of FF7 remake? Absolutely. I think that would be amazing. Okay, so the Witcher video game series. Sorry, I've been slacking. I've been getting distracted. Gotta focus. Okay, so The Witcher. Let me get to some more appropriate music. So the Witcher series, I don't have... this is primarily here because of Witcher 3. Witcher 3 and its place in my heart, but I do enjoy the first game as janky as it is. Don't have a ton to say about it, except that it has a really interesting plot. And I'm going to get to Fields of Ardskellig in a bit, but we'll start with some Hearts of Stone, and then we'll get to Crow's Perch or something. But yeah, it has a really cool plot. It introduces you into the moral quandaries of the setting, or sorry, the story really well. It introduces Geralt. Some of the voice acting is really not good, unfortunately, but like that's just how it goes with first entries into a series like this, right? Baron Goated, Triss or Yennefer? For Geralt, Yennefer. I personally like Triss a little more, but they're both amazing characters. Wearing the Shiro shirt, I did not even realize that. So yeah, not a ton to say about Witcher 1. I think it's good, but it's not like a favorite or anything. Witcher 2, for me, was personally a big step up. It's nearly an honorable mention in this list on its own, if we were doing individually. But I think it really does, like, gameplay-wise, it's kind of, I don't know, it's not great. There are videos out about why it's not very good gameplay-wise. Joseph Anderson has a really good one. And, well, sorry, what was I going to say about 2? Oh, yeah, so 2 tells the politics of this setting. Well, firstly, atmospherically, it puts this sort of, like, dark, murky atmosphere over everything. It immerses you into this world, offers these same moral quandaries to, I think, a little bit more of an interesting twist to them, because it does more of a political lens. You know, it's that idea of monster versus man, you know, carried forward throughout the entire series, but it does that with the application of Geralt being in these political situations. Witcher 2 tells, in my opinion, I've seen this said before and I agree with it, Witcher 2 tells the story of Geralt and this setting and everything from the perspective of the politicians, of the people in power at the top of the hierarchy. Thank you for the follows again, guys. Tons of follows. Thank you very much. And any new subs, I hope you enjoy the emotes as well. So it tells it from the position of people in power, you know, people in political situations, and how they look at the world and how they interact with it, and the decisions they make and everything that goes into that. Witcher 3, on the other hand, tells it from the everyman's perspective, and they do it to an amazing extent. But we'll get into that in a second. To stay with Witcher 2, it was just a very tightly woven, in terms of narrative, really interesting. You know, it wasn't intuitive in a lot of the ways you explored things, but it was where I first saw the storytelling elegance of the series in video game format, like a true elegance in presentation. Voice acting was much improved. The setting was really good. I love a lot of the hub worlds you're in, and yeah, it just expanded things really nicely. How's it going, Gonzito? What do you think about the Witcher Netflix series? Do you think it captures the tone and atmosphere of the video game series? No, but I think it captures the tone and atmosphere of the books. which is essentially what it's trying to do in the first place, right? I think generally, the first season I gave a 7 out of 10. It captures some things really nicely, but at the same time is, by the way, ignore the Nightbot for now, that's for later. So it captures that stuff well, but I think the pacing and structuring is very weird and turbulent. But Season 2 started off better, in my opinion. I have no idea where to start with The Witcher. As long as you're aware that the video games are very distinct from the books and TV show, I don't think there's a wrong place, really. As long as you're open to different takes, if you do want to explore both mediums. But yeah, and then Witcher 3. Have you played the Thronebreaker of Witcher series? No, I have not. I am doing well, JT. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing well, too. I think the only downside to Witcher 3 is the lack of Ciri. The lack of Ciri? Like, there should be more of it? More of her? That's interesting. I think she's used quite well. I would disagree with the devs there, personally. Maybe a bit more, I guess. I think a lot of the reason why she sticks out to me is because of how she's used in moderation. But, you know, more is never a bad thing for a character like Ciri, I guess. How she's not in the game for the first 60%. They could splice in a couple more scenes, I guess. The general approach I'm a fan of, but I suppose I can see that. Yeah, so I actually started the series with 3 as well. And a lot of the lore is so dense, but they give you most of the resources you need to understand the political situation going on if you do want to pay attention to them through books, expository stuff, which is all optional, by the way. Very well designed there, because you don't have to be overloaded with exposition and information. And so if you delve into that, you will most likely not be lost. You'll have enough context to know what's going on. Though, of course, if you played the games before, if you've read the books, there will be lots of nuance that you'll get that a first-time player of Witcher 3 would probably not understand completely. Does Witcher 1 graphics still work for you or not? I mean, once you take into account that they're, it's an old game, I think they're fine. It's very janky, but what do you expect for a game from that era, right? Especially one that tries to be realistic in terms of graphics, right? I vastly prefer the story and characters of the DLC to the main game. I don't think I disagree, personally. With a couple of, Bloody Baron. Yeah, so with a couple of exceptions, but I think I would agree. I'll talk about the DLCs in a second, guest. But yeah, so like I was saying, Witcher 3 takes you to the ground level. It lets you see, whereas before you were up high with the politicians and everything, and the leaders, Witcher 3 takes you to the ground level. And what it does is it shows you the trials and tribulations at a much more intimate degree of the average person. And it progresses through very different and varying, makes her feel so special and rewarding when you actually see her, we finally see her. I agree, totally. And it takes you through these very different biomes and very distinct sections that, while flowing into each other geographically and in terms of narrative and tone, very distinct and tell you very different things. We start in White Orchard and Velen, which are masterclass openings to this game. Very war-torn lands, lots of poverty. You see all the suffering of the people here, and you see how supernatural monsters play a part in that, and why they can... certain elements can take advantage of people. Geralt gets thrust into the middle of all this. In particular, to the Bloody Baron plotline. There's also Fyke Isle, the Tower of Mice, a famous side quest, with side quests consistently interesting and rich and well done. More fleshed out than some of the main plot lines, to be honest. The Tower Full of Mice, yep. Hearts of Stone is unbelievably good, absolutely. And so it takes you to the Bloody Baron questline. Will not spoil it, of course. I'm just speaking in general terms. I'm not going to spoil this directly or explicitly. But the Bloody Baron questline is one of the most shocking things I've experienced in a video game. There is, in multiple ways. You may be thinking about one thing in particular, when I refer to it being shocking, in multiple ways. It's extremely... It does a lot. It does a lot. And it's absolutely wonderful. The Bloody Baron is one of my favorite video game characters ever. So yeah, Velen gets you very down and dirty. There's muck everywhere. Poverty, like I said. Very atmospheric, very dense atmosphere. It's just miserable to be there. And it should be, as it should be. If you're Geralt and you're prowling amongst the people in this war-torn land, it should not, like, the rays of light should be pretty few and far in between, right? But you can't stay there forever. Otherwise, it becomes too much. You habituate yourself to that atmosphere, which is why the next section, Novigrad, is very important, because there's a lot more light there. You see more characters you love that are, have that positive energy, but there's now a different sort of muck over the place. There's political corruption. There is things like racism, right? Everything you'd expect in a big capital of a medieval sort of dark fantasy land, where power is up for grabs and constantly fluid and dynamic, right? The botchling, the crones, the dripping melancholy, and barren trees, I will never forget it, yeah. Barren trees is a huge visual distinction for Velen. Toussaint looks amazing, yep. I believe the Baron has the voice of Robert Baratheon too. I might be wrong. I don't know if he does. I would have to double check. He reminds me of Robert Baratheon in many ways, physically being one of them. I don't know if the voice is the same, though. Top 5 Witcher characters. Bloody Baron, Olgierd von Everec, Gaunter O'Dim, Geralt, and... Ciri. Witcher 3 is your favorite game? Yeah, totally understandable. And then in Novigrad, it gets more into sort of classic beasts. There are classic dark haunted nights, dark haunted rainy nights everywhere. And, it offers that atmosphere to contrast the corruption of inside the walls of Novigrad. And I really think it's genuinely extremely good, extremely rich, tells you a lot about the setting as you continue to go along the main plot line. And then, but like throughout both of these, there is consistently this muck that I've been talking about. Visually, it lifts after Velen, but it's still there atmospherically in Novigrad through the corruption. And then when you get to Skellige, everything opens up, right? Everything opens up visually. It is absolutely beautiful, full of snow-capped mountains and evergreen trees. Yeah, the Emperor is Charles Dance, yep. Evergreen trees, and sorry, these are minor spoilers about what the environments look like, but I don't think it's a huge problem if you're interested. If you don't want to hear what the environments look like, you probably have clicked off a long time ago. But yeah, Skellige is so important tonally. I totally agree, Clonky. Dijkstra, great character. Love the political role he has in showing sort of why someone who is, in his own way, kind of likable would side with something that you may not agree with. Don't want to get too deep into spoilers there, but I think Dijkstra's great. Yeah, he doesn't voice the Baron. I didn't think so. Have you played Horizon Zero Dawn? I have, yep. It's very good. So Skellige opens things up. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like the first time in the game where you can finally properly breathe. It is absolutely stunning visually, and for the first time it feels like, I guess outside of the wooded areas surrounding Skellige, but it feels like you can properly, like, even though Velen is full of open spaces, it still feels claustrophobic. It feels confined and closed in. Tonally, things completely open up. You can feel the breeze as you're on these beautiful islands, the evergreen trees, the very sort of Celtic feel to things. And like I said, the mountains, the snow, it's absolutely beautiful, absolutely stunning. One of my favorite locations in a video game. Yeah, so, but of course this is The Witcher, so it's not like Skellige's, bright and happy and totally clean it doesn't mean that Skellige doesn't have any of the things that the Witcher setting had prior to this. As we explore more, there are lots of problems. But there's a different complexion on everything. As you embroil yourself in the politics of Skellige, There's some really interesting stuff there with, again, variation on the tone, and it flows into each other. It's not jarring to go from one biome to the next. But yeah, I don't know. Skellige is just magical. Every Witcher 3 player who loves the game, at least, who likes the game, remembers the first time they set their eyes on Skellige and just took a breath and realized how beautiful the entire location was, right? Have you seen Vikings? No, I have not. Do you know the guy Andres? I know multiple guys named Andres. But yeah, Skellige, amazing. The whole plot, the whole story of The Witcher 3, I think, is amazing. What were your favorite side quests? There's one in Skellige with, you're deciding what to do with how the village sees their customs. I hope that's vague but specific enough at the same time. Bike Isle, that's one that very much sticks out in my mind. All the stuff with like Dandelion and Zoltan in Novigrad, they're memorable just for having just for being able to interact with those characters. Triss's side quest, the baby in the oven. Yep, that sounds very strange out of context. Yeah, how's it going, Vin? I've played a couple of Telltale games. I played The Walking Dead, and do you have any thoughts to doing playthroughs on stream? It's not something I'm thinking about right now, but I wouldn't rule it out, I guess. But it's not, I wouldn't consider it super likely entitled. I might see Vikings one day. I might. Did you spend a lot of time playing Gwent? I spent some time. Not a ton, though. Not nearly as much as other people I know. Yeah, I love how they make it feel like you're stranded there. That also adds the feeling of it being like this totally blank slate almost. And then we get into the DLCs, which someone asked whether I prefer Blood and Wine or Hearts of Stone. I slightly prefer Hearts of Stone because it just captures this classical folklore aspect to it that I find so enticing, like classic horror, classic Crossroads deals. Those are the things that I had, that I imagined as a kid that I thought were so magical and wondrous and mysterious, but obviously a hugely dark tinge on them. Gontarodim, Olgierd von Everec, everything with their dynamic, the whole section in the haunted house, Olgierd's house, absolutely mesmerizing, beautiful, some of the best video game storytelling. How many hours did you put into it? No idea. Probably hundreds. So yeah, Hearts of Stone is absolutely captivating. Probably the strongest stretch of story, in my opinion. Odim is the best villain. Yeah, I think I would agree. They added such a rich world to this card game. Yeah. And then Blood and Wine. So in terms of setting, because Hearts of Stone takes place in just kind of an offshoot northeastern to Novigrad, Gustlands, I think it's called. And that part of the setting is interesting, and it offers, thematic identity through setting-based storytelling. But Blood and Wine, Toussaint, absolutely beautiful. One of the best settings in the game, very much a breath of fresh air in the same way that Skellige is, but obviously a way different complexion. It's like a fairy tale land, but again with these dark, twisted twists. These dark twists to it. Again, very classic elements of horror. Vampires, obviously, right? I love Regis. I love Anna Henrietta. I love the antagonist. Learning about Toussaint is really wondrous and magical, and I love that it doesn't try to do the same approach among both DLCs. One is built through the core thematics, I think, of core thematics and character focus, while the other sort of starts from the setting, sort of at a broad level in breadth, and then slowly focuses in on a very personal story. Whereas the other is very, I think, tight and focused throughout. Which is, I don't know, an interesting contrast. Thank you for the hydrate. Thank you for the follows, guys. Hopefully I'm getting that across, my love for this series in general, really well, because it is a one of a kind experience to me. Twisted twists sound like a candy. Yeah, I agree, Bernie. Jotaro, I don't know what you're talking about. Can you please, take it easy, please? Anyways, next, Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing. Okay, I don't know. Can you not just put in random movie quotes for no reason? Like, please, like, make sure it's at least somewhat related to what we're talking about. If you could, please. The story of Eswald and Horst from Hearts of Stone is so good. Yeah, and even the side quests in Hearts of Stone, even the side quests in the expansions are magical. Yeah, Regis is great. Oh, did I not mention Regis? Regis is great. The antagonist, I guess two antagonists, very morbid and sort of sad ending to it, right? Anyways, I think we're done with The Witcher. We spent a lot of time on it, but I think we're done with it. Amazing series. My 20th favorite, as it stands, my 20th favorite fictional story. And so, have you played Halo? No. Pretty much no. Basically no. Not much of it. Now we get to Animal Crossing Gamecube. I will have much less to say about this one, I think. Hey, Ian Waffles, thank you for the bits. Just wanted to pop in and say I'm glad you're getting more into streaming and enjoying yourself. Take care, man. You too. Thank you very much. Hope you're doing okay as well. Is that the first installment of the Animal Crossing franchise? Yes, it is. Well, there was one that came out for the N64 in Japan, but they added a bunch of I guess additions to it before porting it to GameCube, which it was then released in America, or the Americas in the West and Europe as well. So I guess for me it's the first. For Japan it's like 1.5. I don't know. However you want to classify that. This captured a sort of yes I do, Untitled. This captured a sort of, I don't know, magic in my childhood that I didn't know, like, it fulfilled a need and scratched an itch that I didn't know I had. Oh, sorry, one more thing about the Witcher series. I didn't mention the visual direction. It is very well directed visually, especially in the DLCs where I think it ramps that up quite a bit. Blood and Wine has some really great visual direction. Okay, so it was very formative for me, Animal Crossing, the first one. First of all, let me just get it out of the way. The music has never been this good. It has never been this comfy and charming, and it's never had this same magical feel since this one released. Maybe that's nostalgia talking. I'm very open to it being nostalgia. But, I don't know. Just the combination of all these integrative elements made the GameCube Animal Crossing much more personal for me. Iris Von Everett, to sum up, very tragic, like classically tragic, effective character. Seeing the progression of her throughout was obviously very sad. And I find her relationship to Olgierd to be one of the saddest things at its core of Hearts of Stone. I find her to be probably the most tragic character, all things considered. I think she's very effective and plays a very clear role and does it well. Yeah, I know there's nothing wrong with going all out in nostalgia. Yep, so much of this list is due to nostalgia. And so it just captured all of that, and it was the most immersive experience I think I've had up until that point. I think I mentioned before, there was like a couple of summers where all me and my cousins would do would be play Animal Crossing, play Pokemon, You know, because we'd take turns. There were 4 of us. One would play for half an hour. Everyone else would watch and play Pokemon. We'd also watch SpongeBob. So it was SpongeBob, Animal Crossing, Pokemon. We'd put in some Sonic there as well. But it's just, it reminds me so much of those days, while also, in and of itself, being such a like magical, charming experience. It's hard to articulate why it's so, I don't know, like the things it does specifically. Because I don't really know. I can't really put it into words. But all I'll say is they never captured that magic again. Wild World kind of had it. Wild World kind of had it for sure. But it didn't have as many holidays and things like that. And after that, the series kind of like, it kind of left me, right? I was kind of stuck in the past with Animal Crossing Gamecube. It turned into a series that was, I mean, more appealing for a greater audience, but less appealing for me. And that's fine. I mean, it's not like they have to appeal to me specifically, obviously. But, so yeah, that's my relationship with the series. For me, it's just been a constant attempt to try and recapture that feeling that GameCube gave me, and it's never been able to do it, unfortunately. But that's just how it goes. Hey, Holy Potato. My cousins were fun, yep. Super Mario Galaxy is like one of my favorite games because of nostalgia. Yeah, a lot of my favorite games are because of nostalgia. And yeah, I think it's a life sim. I didn't ever think that when I was a kid I'd be so emotionally attached to this game where you pay taxes and the main goal is to buy furniture and you know, all these adult things, but they captured it somehow. It's hard to articulate this one, but it's a lot of feeling. Now that the next Arcane vid is guaranteed, I wonder if it's about Silco. Patrons know which one it's about. I think I released a post the other day about exactly what it is about. The carousel, yeah. It's delicate, but potent. Okay, number 18. Yeah, of course, absolutely nothing wrong with that. The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is my 18th favorite piece of fiction. It is Black Clover going to be in the top 20 just to spite Critty? I have no reason to spite Critty, so no. Unfortunately, no. Twilight Princess. No words for this one. I have some words, but it's very hard. This game is so special. I know you don't agree, Top 1 Zelda, Gil, but I appreciate the hype. So this AJ Core, this is AJ Core. This game is AJ Core encapsulated. I don't know why it actually isn't higher, to be honest, given how AJ Core it is. Maybe it's because the narrative focus isn't as strong as in some of my other favorites, and I think the storytelling is just a bit more potent in those. But nonetheless, this is so AJ Core. This has the best start to a Zelda game, in my opinion. Or not best, my favorite. It's my favorite. It's hard for me to argue that Majora's Mask doesn't have as effective a start, so I won't argue that. But it is my favorite, and it's because of how quiet it is. It starts off, well, the title screen is absolutely beautifully melancholic. This game has melancholy and a weird sense of it's a sadness you can't place. It's a wistful longing. Throughout the entire game, at least I felt this, it's like a wistful longing that you don't know how to identify. You don't know how to place it. You don't know why you're feeling this way as you play this game. And the opening to it, the opening cutscene, tells you that exactly. Should I play it? I don't know if I can play it. Do you guys want me to play it? I can just say the line. And because it's literally just the 30 seconds that immediately captured me. It's where you see Link, you see him with Russell, I think his name is, and they're just sitting by a stream in the middle of Twilight. And, you know what, let's play some Twilight Princess music. I don't think I need to. I won't play it, but because the line is so like I said, it's very mournful, very sad for a reason you can't really place, and it's got that with this weird like sort of uneasy underlying uneasiness to it the entire time. It's just a sad game. It's a lonely game. It's got that feeling of implacable loneliness that I talked about in sort of Evangelion and Hoseki no Kuni. And Nintendo going to keep an eye on you from now on, but you can get away with it. Well, I mean, it's as if I was playing it in the first place, right? Like, there's no problem with looking up cutscenes. Suspect Spine, it's the Smash games aren't here because I consider them to be esports rather than stories or fictional works, personally. But they would be. I love them that much. God, I was about to say it and it literally slipped my mind. What the line actually is, the exact wording. Hold on. Tell me, do you ever feel a strange sadness as dusk falls? That strange sadness, I made a video about this. That strange sadness is essentially the core identity, tonal identity, and feeling of Twilight Princess. And it's hard to place for most of the game. As you go throughout doing regular Zelda things, with this tone to it. But the more you play it, the more its thematic identity makes itself clear. Yeah, top 100. And what it is I think, you look at the games before and after this. Skyward Sword was released after this, tons of gameplay innovation and bold changes. Wind Waker was before this, tons of presentation boldness. And you look at this one, and it's very classically Zelda. It's visually, aesthetically, spiritually, excuse me, like a sort of successor to Ocarina of Time. It's got a lot of the same dungeons, just I think better in my opinion. It's got the same setting, just again better in my opinion, more vast, more explorative. Some people think of it as empty and that there isn't as much to do because like they look at it as hollow. Personally, I see that as cohesive and integrated with the idea of this place being lonely. It's a desolate game, not just in terms of spirit and thematics, but feel, like I was mentioning. And yeah, it's between notable errors in the timeline. I mentioned this in my video, as Abastia says. It's not a new conflict, not a new setting. Like he says, like I said, a spiritual successor. It's very reminiscent of Ocarina. It is in between periods of huge shifts and changes and momentum. And so because of this, it is stagnant. That is just this era of history. Oh, no worries, Davinator. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you so much for the subs. Thanks a lot. And because of that stagnation, it puts this wistful longing everywhere in the story. In a story of tribes who are stagnant and want to, make a place for themselves in the world and find a meaningful life. That is the core of why the Twilight people in this series, again, I'm not going to spoil anything big, but the core of why they sort of rise up, a lot of the antagonistic opposition. That is what this land is in. It's very sleepy. It's very lonely, very stagnant, like we were talking about. And many people dislike the game and call it empty only because of Matthew Matos's video, to be honest. Oh, I didn't even know. Oh, thank you, Jotaro. I'm a bit less than 2,000 subs, actually. Still got 22, but I guess Twitch rounds up. Still got 22 more subs to 2,000, or sorry, not subs, followers to 2,000. It's not 2K subs. 2K subs, I would be rolling in it if it were, but it's 2K followers. But thank you. And yeah, so that's a lot of its thematic, atmospheric identity and the origin of that. It is a place in history where that's just how it is, and some people buy into that, like me. That is totally my thing. Some people find it boring or empty or slow-moving or ponderous, and I guess I understand that, but at the same time, I think the plot has tons of momentum. I think it's quite focused. I think everything has meaning, and I think, like I said, all the temples are really, really good. Thoughts on Zant and Midna? Zant is one of my favorite antagonists, second only to Ganondorf, in the entire series, beautifully written. Midna is my favorite Zelda character, full stop. Midna is amazing. How Midna progresses through the game and your relationship with her, well, Link's relationship with her, is absolutely stunning character progression. And Ganondorf, Ganondorf, he has the best thematic role, as I was talking about. I mentioned Wind Waker before. Ganondorf, in my opinion, has the best thematic role here, primarily because I think, we're talking about all this subtlety and nuance, this stagnation, this feeling of wistful longing and yearning, and etc. Ganondorf is the epitome of force and power and strength, and his role in the game just kind of breaks through all of that. Is this document public or private? It's private, but I will release it when I'm done. I'll release it publicly when I'm done. You can look in the VOD Sunlit Sonata here. I can quickly scroll through it, but I want to keep talking about what I was talking about. So here's just a quick look, just to quickly scroll through. I know you'll only catch a few, but earlier in the VOD, you can look at it. I stopped on each section, so you'll be able to see it earlier on. And yeah, so Ganondorf has this amazing role as an antagonist, as a thematic antithesis, and carries out so well. And the final boss fight in this game is my favorite in Zelda, one of my favorite in video games ever. Hey Joshua, how are you? I'm doing well, hope you're doing well as well. Very dominant, exactly. And he breaks through all of this, as a thematic antithesis should. He's a thematic antithesis in this game, unlike any other Zelda game, in my opinion. Really excited for Breath of the Wild 2. Hopefully it does some stuff with Ganon as a character. I would be disappointed if it didn't, to be honest. I'm looking for a bit more character focus in Breath of the Wild 2. I'm hoping. And some dislike the sleepy, gradual, slow opening to this game. I love it. I'm totally fine with slow and sleepy and quiet openings if they're done well. And this game does them so well in terms of bringing you in and immersing you into this setting, introducing you to the mundane, so that when things get out of hand, it is genuinely impactful and things just keep ramping up. I don't know. I thought it was done really well. Yeah, the opening to Twilight Princess is really good. Did Red Dead Redemption 2 appear in your top 100? No, it did not. It did not. Automatic. I think they're very good games, the Red Dead Redemption series, but personally, it's not my type of setting, so that kind of buffers my enjoyment of them quite a bit, unfortunately. Is it the final stretch of the top 100 going until number 1? No, I'm not. I gotta play Final Fantasy after this, so Jesus, this is a weird variation. So we're gonna do maybe one more. We talked about The Witcher for forever, but I need to get to Final Fantasy soon. Silent Hill 2 has my favorite slow opening ever. They can definitely be great ways to start a game. And yeah, one of my favorite links too. I agree, Quicksilver. Silent Hill 2 has a really great slow opening. I guess the most prevailing characteristic of Silent Hill 2 is the atmosphere, and that is introduced really well through that opening. This game feels very deliberate and takes time. Definitely made me feel very invested into the world and story, yeah. Yeah, Ibastia, I love that with Zant. Personally, I don't like that aspect of Ganondorf. I don't enjoy that. That aspect of the timeline has never really sat well with me, but definitely, thematically appropriate, and I love it with Zant, as I mentioned. When did you play Twilight Princess, and how many times did you play it? I played it first in, I think, the winter of 2005. I got it as a Christmas gift and played through it twice through those holidays. It was a magical time, and I've replayed it maybe, aside from those 2 times, maybe 2 or 3 more times since then. Sorry to ask this since I'm sure you've been asked a lot, but will all these streams be saved and uploaded somewhere? Yeah, don't worry about it, Duncan. Being a streamer means you have to repeat yourself for lots of questions, and I'm totally fine with that. People can't make it to every stream, obviously, so don't worry about asking questions like that. Yes, every top 100 stream will be spliced together into a video or a video series and put on my second channel on YouTube, and you can watch the VODs for 14 days after they go up. On Twitch. That's a feature on Twitch. FF Tactics is a... Oh, okay. Omori. Final Fantasy Tactics is, I think, a absolutely wonderful game. Sorry, absolutely wonderful plot. Really good story. There was a bit of a buffer for my enjoyment for that one because the gameplay I could not get into it. It wouldn't really work with me. It didn't click in my mind. And as a result from that, I would constantly find myself breaking immersion with it. But it is no doubt a really fantastically written story. Really good. Glad to hear it, Josh. I wanted to love The Witcher 3 just in for me, I guess. Hey, as long as you go into things with, everyone wants to love, or most people want to love what they play, but I mean, as long as I think nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? It's too bad you didn't enjoy it that much, Spirit Noodle. Is Silent Hill 2 not on the list? Not so far. Not so far. Slow openings can be cool, but something like FF13 seems misled in that regard because of how automated it is. Oh, okay, sorry, Tyke. 2006 then. It was out in 2006 then, right? Mixed up my years, I'm an old man. Slow openings can be cool. I have not played FF13, so I can't really comment. But yeah, definitely they need to be used deliberately and with focus on why you're doing it. First time I played was when I was 7. Somehow ended up 100%ing it. Wow. Yeah, I don't like Ganondorf being a tragic character, Abastia. I don't like that. I think that, I think the appeal of Ganondorf to me is him being this force of nature character, with human characteristics, of course. But I don't think it needs to be tragic to emphasize that. I like him because of his sheer unrelenting willpower and force, and without getting into hugely deep spoilers, but the fatalistic element of him being used in that way totally dilutes that. I really dislike that. That's the thing I dislike most about Skyward Sword personally. I just prefer that not being a plot point because it takes away what I think is best about, or not takes away, but it dilutes what I think is best about Ganondorf. I have played Suikoden 2. I played Suikoden 2. It's very good, definitely. And no, John Bams, I have not. Yes, it is Featherine. Hope you have a good day, too. Yes, Machna Forest, yep. That's cool, Spirit Noodle. Hope the second time goes around well for you. Did I miss the Xenoblade part of the list? Xenoblade has not been said yet. Which Zelda games do you recommend starting with for... Okay, 2006, got it, Tyke. And Tyke, stick around for the next one. This will probably be the last one before I start Final Fantasy, guys, but we'll do one more in the list. Which Zelda games do you recommend starting with for someone who wants to start the series? A Link to the Past? Ocarina of Time? Those are the two, I would say. Those are the two definite starting points. I would say they're the best places to start the series. Remind me again, how is he tragic? I thought he was the embodiment of evil or something. Zero Skills, that would be getting into big spoilers for Skyward Sword. But essentially, the climax of Skyward Sword explains that very directly. Okay, so basically, anyone who doesn't want to be spoiled about Ganondorf's role in Zelda, mute for 30 seconds. When I put my hand up like this, we'll be done, the spoilers, okay? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1... Okay, so his role, Zero Skills, his role in Skyward Sword is essentially, by the end, it said that he will be reincarnated Again and again throughout the series, he will echo throughout time and constantly clash with Link as this sort of puppet of fate, so to speak. I'm summarizing, but that's essentially the core of what it is. And that explains why he's consistently reincarnated and consistently comes up into conflict with Link. There being this fatalistic element to it, that he's kind of like a puppet as a victim of the whims of fate, essentially. That's what Skyward Sword establishes through his origin story, is what we're talking about here. And I dislike that a lot, because for reasons I talked about before. So that's basically the crux of it. Okay, so spoilers done. It's odd seeing AJ's mouth move, but nothing comes out of it. Okay, spoilers done. Anyways, always open to talk more Zelda. If during the Final Fantasy VII stream, if you guys have questions about Zelda during times where I'm not talking, go ahead. I could talk about Zelda forever. And Critty said something. Where was it? Ocarina of Time and what little was shown of him reminded me of Jafar in Aladdin, with him being an advisor to the royal family who's overtly shady and eventually takes over. Yeah. As you go, well, you're kind of close to the end of Ocarina, right? But the more you play Critty, the more you'll see he has a very distinct role. But yeah, I totally agree with given what you've seen so far. 5 out of 6 medallions, got it. Yeah, Bastia, I'm not interested in really arguing about this. Like, I'm not interested in really debating it. This isn't the time or the place exactly, but also I don't have a stake in this fight. I'm just giving out my opinion. I'm not trying to invalidate yours. I totally get it. Just agree to disagree, right? Okay, last one for today. Tyke's least favorite game of all time. I'm kidding. Need AJ debate streams one day. John Bams, I have no interest in debating anyone for anything. I'd be horrible at that. People would just go, I disagree with you. And all I would do is I'd say my position, and then I'd back off and go, okay. Here's what I think. Here's why I think I'm right. The Gandorf thing, there's no right or wrong. Just to be clear. But in other instances, here's why I think I'm right. Here's why I'm confident in it. If you disagree, if you think I'm an idiot, that's fine. Cap. Okay, Xenoblade Chronicles number 17. Let's go, though. Happy to see it. Yeah. So, this game is basically my internet identity at this point because of my profile picture and my starting screen for Twitch and for streams. For anyone who doesn't know, the sword, the Monado, the symbol of Xenoblade Chronicles, has been my YouTube channel picture for forever. It's been that on Twitter as well. The AJ shot. Xenoblade 2 gonna be top 5? No, it's not. No, it's not, Deja Vu Man, it's not. Sorry. So, the fact that it's basically the core of my internet identity, visually, should tell you how much I love it. And that love has gone down a little bit. It used to be my favorite video game of all time. It is not anymore. But nonetheless, I still think it's absolutely majestic, and it does everything I want a game to do. Absolutely everything. It reminds me a lot of Attack on Titan in terms of the plot focus and the way it builds upon foundations. I do think Attack on Titan is a bit more tight and sharp and deliberate with that. So I do think Attack on Titan does it a bit better. But it reminds me of that, the approach. It lays down these plot foundations and character foundations and consistently recontextualizes with tons of twists. Every bit of game, every few hours, there's a new sort of twist to make you think about things in a different way. And you could talk about it forever, absolutely. And it's got a great cast of characters. I've seen people say that the characters are not impressive. I totally disagree. I don't think it's the best cast of anything I've ever played or experienced, but Shulk, the protagonist, is really, really good. One of my favorite video game protagonists. One of the premier antagonist is very spot on, the thematic antithesis sort of guy. Another one of the antagonists is arguably the best character in the game. The party has tons of camaraderie and natural interactions and that sort of thing. Shulk, yep. The incredible Shulk. My favorite character is probably... My top 4, I would say, is Egil, Shulk, Melia, and Dunban. And so yeah, just all that with the plot. The story is really extremely good. It is the best setting in a video game as far as I'm concerned. Conceptually, one of the most interesting. And then in terms of presentation and execution, it is the best. It is the best to me. There is nothing that beats Xenoblade Chronicles setting for me. And I won't get into the combat yet. The art style, so they just recently came out with a definitive edition for it, I guess a year and a half ago or something like that. A remaster. The art style is a bit rough around the edges, and even in the remaster, it's not the best thing you'll ever see, but art direction is where it shines. Like when you look on in the distance and see the locations and everything like that, the locations and the layouts and the geographical layouts and you look at the sky and you, from a grand scale, the art direction is phenomenal. It is absolutely stunning and beautiful. It is my favorite soundtrack as well in any video game currently playing right now. A soundtrack that never fails to make me emotional or immerse me or make me feel something. Almost every song. The English dub is something I will go to bat for. Some people think it's very cringe. I think it's great. There are moments throughout of jank. Like, there are moments that are just very oddly executed with the English dub and just seem weird. Isn't everyone British? Most of them are, yeah. That are just weird. But I find that, like, charming in a janky way. It doesn't detract from the experience to me. Like, minor spoilers, I guess, but there's a scene that me and my friend always make fun of all the time where almost seems too low. I'll talk about why it isn't higher in a second. There's a scene, it's very minor spoilers, it doesn't really spoil anything. Obviously, the story is dark at times, so there is death. So there's a scene where someone is fearing for their loved ones, and another character who's experienced similar tragedy can relate to that. And you know what they say to try and comfort this character? This is well, maybe not even comfort, but just know what they say in response to someone worrying about their loved ones. They go, yeah, a lot of those people died. Like, tons of them died. I know you're worried about your loved ones. In my scenario, which is the same as yours, tons of people just died. And it's like, what the hell? Like, that's played off as like supposed to be like a minor character flaw, but it's like, what the hell are you thinking? Are you stupid? And because of how janky and weird that is, like, I love it. I don't know why. Like, that comes off as very oddly charming to me. And there are moments throughout that are like that. Not a ton, but whenever they come, it's like, there's that jank. This game is janky. It's like, do you know which one I'm talking about? Seems like some people know which one I'm talking about. It's Ryan. Ryan's a fucking idiot. But I love him. Like, oh, I'm so worried. Yeah, lots of people died. You know? Some of them got eaten. Friggin' moron. Anyway, so yeah, it's got those moments of jank that actually enhance the experience for me for some reason. Damn, bro, that's crazy. Yeah. And so the progression of the plot... You forgot, but you're not surprised, it's Ryan. Yeah. What are some of your favorite tracks? This one, Machna Forest, Engage the Enemy, Refugee Camp. That's a rough buddy moment. Yep. So I think something that it's, like I said, the progression of the plot. It is one of those stories that starts off somewhere and then it gradually expands in breadth and depth and goes places you could never even imagine as it continues to recontextualize things. And such that you cover all sorts of locations, all sorts of concepts and story elements. It's very much like a stream of consciousness sort of game in terms of, I guess, thematics and ideas it covers, if that makes sense. So that's a commonality between it and other games I love, or stories I love, Hunter x Hunter being one. But yeah, and I love that progression. Sometimes it's done a bit rough. Sometimes, yeah, like the dialogue is a bit weird. But it captures a feeling like no other of traveling these locales that I previously said are so beautiful. That, favorite area. Oh, I got anything about that. I'll get back to that, John Bams. It's just magical. Whether you're crossing the bridge on Magna Forest looking at the waterfall, or you're going through the Bionis Arm, and at night with the crystals shining up and the snow coming down, or you're in Aerith Sea looking at the aurora. This game consistently puts you in magical spots where you just take in the environment, soak it in, and honestly, those are the moments that stick with me the most. My favorite area would probably be either Magna Forest or the Fallen Arm. The Fallen Arm is a brilliant, beautiful, very rich section of emotional storytelling, and a very nice breather and great use of tone and pacing. But yeah, this game just goes from strength to strength as you go through it. Sense of scale, yeah, absolutely. Scale in terms of storytelling and scale in setting. So, potential Xenoblade announcement today, I'd be down. The OST, yeah, Fallen Arm is, again, one of my other favorite songs, for sure. I think I have it here, actually. Fallen Arm. The Fallen Land, here we go. On the leg with the Monconis looming over, absolutely. And so, why it isn't higher, I would say it does all these great things that a story should do. I love the story, I love the setting, I love the characters, the music, everything. Oh, and I didn't mention the gameplay. The gameplay, a lot of the games I play primarily for story. I'm like 70% story, 30% gameplay or something like that, and obviously how they integrate is very important. I'm a weird guy who loves the stories more than the gameplay, but the gameplay in Xenoblade is so good. I could play this game over and over, consistently, doing different builds and different ways to approach the gameplay. I love the gameplay, and it actually introduced me to the MMORPG sort of feel. It's the reason why transitioning to FF14, which I'm playing right now, wasn't too rough, and I kind of understood it pretty well. I have not Dragonite. I have not played any Metal Gear Solid. So the gameplay, absolutely beautiful. The Affinity top-notch gameplay story integration, yeah. Affinity system's really good. It's like similar to some things with Persona, different in some other ways, but it integrates it really well. And so the reason it isn't higher is essentially I really value how rent-free a story or experience could be in my mind after I play it. Xenoblade tackles themes that I don't find that interesting. The story itself, I'm super invested in. I'm super, super invested in the story. I pick up everything it's putting down in every regard except thematically. Because the ideas it covers, I'm like, okay, it's well presented, everything's really well done. I don't care, though. I don't think about these things. I don't think about the way that Xenoblade presents them in a way that really captures my imagination. So the ideas aren't really rent-free in my head. I don't find myself thinking about it a ton after I play it. And whereas games above this and some below it, Twilight Princess being a prime example, thematically, the ideas they talk about, they discuss, they present, stick in my mind a lot more, if that makes sense. The ideas Xenoblade proposes, they're well executed. Yeah, Tyke, I think that's essentially why it's gone down a bit in recent years. The ideas I just don't care for that much, and for someone who does like those ideas, maybe it's your favorite thing of fiction, maybe it's your favorite video game. For me, I just find them not as interesting. So for that reason, it's essentially number 17 instead of being higher. If that makes sense. That's basically it. Not really a problem as much as that's probably a personal thing. I'm not considering Umineko a game, no. Nope, I am not. Anything else anyone wants to say about Xenoblade? I think I've covered basically everything I want to cover about it. And I think we'll end today. Only four today, but they were huge ones. Particularly Witcher and Xenoblade, and Twilight Princess as well, actually. So just Animal Crossing was the only non-huge one. Pretty unique interpretations of some characters, which I think probably elevates it personally. He's one of them, Jotaro. Yeah, there are some characters I'm thinking of. Callian, Shulk, Dunban, and someone else who I can't spoil, who I think I have interpretations of them that is pretty different from the norm. That definitely enhances the way I think about the story. Yours are probably different. Is this a new tier or part of the existing tier? So The Witcher is the previous tier. Starting from Animal Crossing, it's a new tier. And I'll update that in the list. Okay, wait, hold on. Before you guys leave, just so you know, tomorrow, same time as always, I'm going to be streaming, again, just pure top 20. It won't be super long. It'll be maybe 2 hours tops. But I want to continue along, since we only did 4 today. We'll be doing this time tomorrow, continuing the top 20 from 16 onwards. So thanks for stopping by if you were just here for the top 100. And if you want to stick around for Final Fantasy VII Remake, by all means. But again, thank you very much. Thoughts on Definitive Edition? Good. I think it looks great. And I have not played the extra stuff, but I want to someday. There was something else. The foreshadowing is amazing. It absolutely is. Lots of stuff it does with... I also have a pretty unique take on... Well, I don't know if it's unique. It's probably not unique. But I find Alvis very interesting. Yeah, on repeat playthroughs, it does a ton. I'm Xeno-tired. Opinion on Xenoblade 2. Fun. Overall fun, but there are lots of stuff about the story that I'm not a fan of. But it's a positive experience. Xenoblade Colonel. Oh, Jesus. Critty. Yeah, so tomorrow we'll continue the top 100. Hey, Osmustus, you just came at the tail end of the top 100. Now we're starting Final Fantasy VII Remake. No worries, Abastia. Obviously, I can't get to all of them, but I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts. Please don't stop. No need to apologize at all. Alec enjoying a character that everyone hates? Never, exactly. Okay, so don't worry, guys. I'm used to the viewers lowering after we start Final Fantasy, but I appreciate everyone who sticks with me, and I'd talk about Final Fantasy forever if I could to no one, so no worries there. Let me just get it started here. Gonna be here for another 2 months before the top 100 is done, yeah. Well, tomorrow we'll do at least 5 more. We'll do at least 5 more tomorrow. Sorry. Just fiddling around here. Okay. At least 5 more. Well, the thing is, these are my absolute favorites, so when I talk about them, I try to keep it concise, but, you know, what can you do when they're your favorite? If I don't talk about them for long, I wouldn't be getting across what I love about them, even on a general level, a ton. Yeah, I'll change the title. Thanks. Thank you very much, Luciano. Ay. I cannot spell today. And then Final Fantasy VII Remake. There we go. That should be finished. AJ really about to get to Hunter x Hunter in the list and say it's good and move on. Well, might have to. How do you sum that one up? Has Hunter x Hunter been mentioned yet? No, it has not, brand dude. I don't think I can be there tomorrow, but I'll watch the VOD. Okay, cool. Sounds good, Tyke. And then let me just switch things around here. There we go. So, I guess I should get rid of this sub-goal thing, right? It has been long achieved. Thank you very much for the support, as always, guys. Have you ever played / ever been curious to play Final Fantasy Type 100? Or sorry, Type 0. I've been curious. I have not played it. Is it good? I assume it's good if you mentioning it. All right, see ya, Bernie. Thanks for stopping by. Yes, Spirit Noodle. I do have a YouTube voice. Say something. If you use your channel points, I'll show you it. Have you not seen my YouTube videos? Because that's essentially what it is. It's a scripted, very formal voice.
Well?
Sure did.
Sorry, let me just answer this quickly. Are you posting the final list of fiction on Twitter or something? Sorry if you already mentioned, just dropped in. I don't know if I'll put it on Twitter, because people can be just really annoying when you post rankings of anything on Twitter. So I think I might just make it a command for Nightbot on here, and post a video, of course, on my second channel. So it'll be available for anyone who wants to see it, but I might not put it on Twitter. Imagining someone wants to say you want a good girl. Yeah, you should. I platinumed it, and it's super fun. Interesting themes and characters. Oh, okay. Oh, no. Yeah, if anything, more than anything else, Final Fantasy 15 gets those emotions across really well. I sound the same to you in YouTube videos compared to streams? Really? Really? Well, give me a sentence to read in my YouTube video, and I think you'll see the difference. Okay. So, essentially, what we're doing is... Oh, it's adorable.
Huh? Wait a minute. Did you just...
Oh, crap.
Nope.
Yeah, okay. So, we're about to get to...
Don't worry.
That video is
I'll
going to be
get on
long,
stage
yeah.
next time.
What are you talking about?
I'm sorry, okay?
Essentially, that video will be multiple parts, I think, because these streams are super long.
Hold it right there, lovebird.
So what we're doing right now with Aerith is going to... We're trying to get back home. We just talked about Wall Market, and we're trying to get home.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I got
Back to, well, not Cloud's home, but, you know,
Go on.
Tifa and Barrett.
We made it. Smell the fresh air?
It is also in the same universe as Final Fantasy 13 and Versus, so it may make you curious to check out 13. Which is alright, but fun most of the time. Okay. I'm not very curious to check out 13, but yeah, who knows? It could peak it. I've got a lot on my plate at the moment. Here we go. Here we go. Really cute character building moment between the two of them. Aerith really brings out the best in Cloud. Sorry, actually, let me just switch one thing. Okay. There we go. You just played this part today? Nice. Okay, so this is one of my favorite scenes in this maybe not one of my absolute favorite, but this is right up there. They are adorable. The progression of this high five thing, it's so cute.
All right, there it is. The gate to Sector 7.
Looks shut. How do we open it?
More importantly, how about we take a break? Sound good?
She does not
No.
want Cloud to leave, does
I don't
she?
have time for...
Up there looks nice. Come on.
Agree, Luciano. And thank you so much for the sub,
You know, a
Kaine.
long time ago, I used to sell flowers here.
Oh, yeah?
So, Cloud, you were a soldier first class, right?
Yeah.
Weird.
Really? What's weird about it?
Nothing. Just that you were the same rank.
Huh? As who?
The first guy I ever loved.
What's his name? I probably know him.
Are you okay? Wow. Your eyes.
Oh. It's 'cause of the Mako. All soldiers have them.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, I'm bumming you out. We should go.
I'll say this in a second.
Gotta look forward, not back.
So yeah, like Luciana was saying, the two of them bring out the best in each other in terms of, you know, that little kid, that really adorable, cute little kid. But of course, when the time calls for it, they're able to mature. And Aerith especially is able to flick that switch and never, you know, go too far in that direction for both her own well-being and for Cloud's. In this case, her own. She kind of has to dial it back here for her own, you know, her own comfortability, because she's talking about something that's very near and dear to her heart and still very fresh. And she says, you know, gotta move forward, not back. Personally, I've always interpreted it, despite her saying that, I do still think she's thinking about the past. I do still think it's on her mind. Just no real evidence for that, just what I've always thought. And then, notably, when she says the name of the first person she ever loved, it's, you know, cut out. We have that memory thing again. Okay. Whoopsie daisy. Sorry about that. You can redeem them. Hold on. I think something's going on with my, am I dropping frames, guys? Subtext doesn't exist. Does everything look okay on your end? Am I dropping frames? It's kind of telling me I am, but I'm not sure. Sometimes. Oh, yeah. Okay, I don't know why that is. I'll fix this up. Hold on. Okay. I have to lower the output, the bit rate. Hold on. I don't know why that is. I've never had problems with it before. Okay, hopefully it'll stop. We'll see. And you can redeem it now, Spirit Noodle.
Here.
Oh, I guess after this.
This won't take long. Ready? Want to get to Sector 7 in style? This is the passageway for you.
So...
Go ahead.
You gonna be okay getting home?
And if I said I wasn't?
I'll go with you.
I thought you needed to get back. Don't worry. I have a backup route for emergencies, and it's safer too. Guess this is it then. Ready?
Yeah, let's... Well, hold on, let me just double check.
Aw, you big softy. Gonna miss me?
Of course. You can redeem them now, Spirit Noodle, if you want. If Aerith is Uncanny Valley. I've never thought that. So... Interesting that she talks about this and her relationship with this location in the past. And... You know, how this was kind of a sanctuary for her. That's the implication, right? Because it is very much still in the middle of the slums, all dirty, all desolate. Well, desolate now. You know, it's downtrodden, this place, much like the rest of this area. But Aerith was able to find beauty in this place, and that's very representative of her as a person. Always has been.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Yeah!
Tifa?
Cloud, you're alive. I thought we'd lost you.
What's going on?
Shh. I'll explain everything later. But now I'm on my way to see Don Corneo. You should head back to 7th Heaven, meet up with the gang.
But...
I'll be fine. You've seen how much ass I can kick?
I have.
I have.
Yeah? Yeah!
Oh, no you don't. You're going after her.
She's a big girl. She can handle the likes of him. And worse.
You don't know Corneo. It doesn't matter how strong or smart you think you are. He'll find a way to turn it against you. And where's she going to meet him? A mansion filled with his goons. Come on, aren't you worried what might happen in there? You have to help her. Come on!
This is another indication of a bit more interpretive, but an indication of Aerith saying, you know, we gotta, like,
Come on, Cloud!
the idea that she might know more than she lets on. Okay, Spirit Noodle. Although my heart may be weak, it's not alone. It's grown with each new experience, and it's found a home with all the friends I've made. I've become a part of their hearts, just as they've become a part of mine. And if they think of me now and then, if they don't forget me, then our hearts will be one. I don't need a power. My friends are my power. It's hopefully distinct. Jujutsu Kaisen. I think Jujutsu Kaisen's really well presented, really fun, consistently pretty hype, interesting characters, lots of interesting foundations set in the first season. While not being spectacular, I think it's got lots of potential. I like Yuji. I like Nobara a lot. Do you ever take that YouTube voice to real life? I did when I was presenting things in school, when I would have to do a speech in school for whatever reason, and people liked it.
Hey there. Where you headed?
You gave a ride to a girl earlier. Do you have any idea where she went?
No, and if you don't need a ride, then get the hell out of here. Can't you see I'm trying to work?
Can't say I can, no.
What'd you say to me, you little...
What's all the ruckus out here? I don't know you. What's your story?
We're looking for a girl who took one of your carriages. Can you help us find her?
Depends. What do you want with this girl here?
Guess. We want to save...
Save her from a life without this handsome guy.
Huh?
So, that's how it is, huh? Well, I get a lot of customers. Hard to keep track of them all. This girl, what's she look like?
Well...
I actually forget. What? I forget what you're actually supposed to say here. That was a lovely quote, by the way, Spirit Noodle. I'm just gonna say she's in great shape.
She's in great shape.
Is that really
Oh,
important?
I thought that was right.
Wait a minute. You
Sorry,
talking
Aerith,
about
I'm sorry. I thought that was
That's
it.
her.
Oh, looks like someone's got a bit of a crush. Hate to break your heart, kid, but it's gonna be a long while before she sees the light of day again.
What do you mean?
She's a real pretty girl. Corneo's hosting another audition, and Tifa was chosen as a candidate
An audition for what?
for the title of the next Mrs. Corneo. She's what he likes all rolled into one sweet package. Having scouted girls for so long, I know his taste better than my own. And considering those tastes, I can guarantee you this. She won't be walking out of that mansion anytime soon, if at all.
So where can we find this Don Corneo?
What are you asking for? Thinking of raising holy hell or something? Do what you gotta, but leave me out of it. I told you what you want to know. Now take a walk.
And there goes our best lead yet. Maybe we'll have better luck in town. Let's check it out.
Okay, hold on a second, guys. I keep dropping frames, and I don't know why, so 1 second. Could be my internet, but I hope not. I don't have a preference, Luciana. I was just saying that because she was she was disapproving of it. I'll try turning off Chrome. That sometimes helps. I don't know what the problem is. I'm sorry. The frames are occasionally going to drop for some reason, guys. I don't know. I really don't know. I can't troubleshoot in the middle of this. I'm sorry. So I guess we'll just continue on. There we go. So it won't come out in the VOD at least. So Wall Market is where we are right now. It's not that bad? Okay, hopefully. Wall Market is where we are right now. What I find interesting is to sort of discuss the contrasts between the original Wall Market and this one. In the original, it's like Wall Market is very grungy, dirty, down to earth, very sort of mundane, and you know, it's very low energy. It's like you get in there and it's very seedy. It's not safe for like they distinctly say it's not a safe place for women and that sort of thing. But in this game, the vibe is very different while also being, you know, not a totally wholesome place to be, of course. Let's see.
Welcome to Wall Market, the pleasure capital of Midgar that's got everything for everybody. Couple, huh? It's all good. Play together, do your own thing, earn a little scratch on the side even. Whatever you're into, we got you. Got a special one-time limited offer.
No, thank you. Come on, Cloud. Let's go.
It's a party city. It's like Vegas. And while it is pretty much seen to be, you know, it's shown to be seedy as well. There's unsavory stuff going down for sure. It's very weird and bizarre. It's mostly a celebration. There's a huge distinction between the mood of it in the original and the mood of it in this game.
Yes, you. Do you have a place to
One of my
stay
favorite
in
parts of the game.
city?
Super surprised at how much they put into this area. Yeah, they went the full 9 yards with this.
Couple like you.
How much?
Cloud!
Just give me a holler.
Cloud's hustling.
Change your mind.
Yeah, it's very much a preference thing. Like, some people really don't like that they changed the vibe at all. Some people are okay with it. It depends on if you want it to stay completely the same, you know? But it's very Vegas, right? And this whole section of the game, they really went the full 9 yards, like I said, in soaking everything out of it. I'm very happy for the existence of Madame M. I am too. I am too. For now, let's just follow the marker, I suppose. This way.
There it is.
Actually, I'm lost. Where am I going? This way, okay. And again, you know, this paradise...
The sweet embrace of pretty ladies.
And there's Johnny.
That's what I need.
Or are you going to do the luxury course of the hand massage? I don't know. Whenever we get there, you guys can decide.
Check it out. I think we might have found our man. And he's a gaudy one.
Yeah.
Very gaudy. So this says a lot about Don Corneo immediately. Oh, whoops. Yeah, I still don't hear it, that Johnny's voiced by Yuri Lowenthal.
Not so fast, buddy. Back it up. Got no need for pretty boys here.
We're looking for someone.
Let me guess. First time in...
Great remix.
Yeah? So?
So people can't just walk through the Don's front door. Especially men.
How about me then? Can I go inside?
Maybe, but you're gonna wish you didn't.
You know Leslie? She's kinda cute. Homely, but cute.
Excuse you?
Kinda cute's not gonna cut it.
Come on. Can't you help us out?
Do you have any idea what you're getting yourself into?
Aerith.
Seriously, Les, she's not half bad. With a little work, I bet she'd clean up real nice.
Cloud, requesting permission to kill.
Denied.
Denied.
If you're really sure you want to join an audition, then you're gonna need to get official approval.
And who can give us that?
The trio. The only ones in town who are considered authorities on Corneo's particular tastes. First, there's Chocobo Sam. And then there's Madam M over at the massage parlor. Last but not least, there's the Honeybee Inn's
My
Andrea
favorite.
Rodea. They're an eccentric bunch, to put it mildly. And you should know they don't recommend just any girl stupid enough to come knocking.
Duly noted. Thanks for the info. We'll be back soon.
So note how the most annoyed Aerith gets is when they're saying that that she's not really attractive or not the Dawn's type. Like where they're saying she's homely, which they're absolutely wrong about, by the way. But it's that's Aerith. She is not afraid to get down and dirty, and yeah, requesting permission to kill too. So we got to request permission from the 3 Dawns, I think they're called. The favorite of my witch is Andrea.
You sure about this?
If you've got any better ideas.
Nice shot, by the way.
So that's the way it is. Tifa's been invited into the Don's estate.
Huh?
But to earn such a privilege, you must first win the approval of one of the trio. Right? Meaning, I now know what I must do to save her. Stay strong, Tifa! Help is on the way! Johnny's coming, baby!
Not the sharpest tool in the shed, is he?
Nope.
Sorry about the frames, guys. I really have no idea what's going on. I'm doing nothing differently at all. If it continues, I think I may end the stream. Because, really annoying.
I got a place you're gonna love. Supposed to go down like this.
I think so.
Just wanted to see Andrea.
Let me handle this. You wait out here, okay?
And why would I do that? No, I'm coming with.
I'm not really sure that...
You're a man of many talents, but talking isn't one of them.
Okay. It's not that bad. Yeah, it just like I'm the type of person where it just keeps nagging me, so I don't know. We'll see. Cloud's Nope is already iconic, yep.
Whoa.
Good evening.
Oh. Hey,
Welcome to the heart and soul of Wall Market, the Honeybee Inn. Is there a honey boy or girl whose company you desire?
We're here to see Andrea Rodea.
The shining star of the Honeybee Inn.
In certain ways, Dragonite, yeah.
Make the appointment, sir? Can I have your name?
Oh, we don't have an appointment.
I see. I'm terribly sorry, sir. An appointment is required, and the earliest available slot is 3 years from now.
3 years?
All we want is 5 minutes. He can spare that.
I need his help for the Corneo audition.
Yes, well, regardless of the circumstances, you cannot meet him without an appointment.
Is there really no other way?
It is rare,
Whoops,
but Mr.
sorry.
Rodea does occasionally extend invitations to individuals who catch his eye. Otherwise, I'm sorry, but there really is nothing that can be done.
I guess that's that then. Oh well, let's try someone else.
3 years. The last time. Which is, interesting.
Hey, aren't you nervous? This is gonna... Oh gosh, my heart.
And again, what I like about this is the verticality and sort of natural feel to the environments. Like, these houses and things are just put wherever they can be put for people to live. Very consistent with the rest of the slums of Midgar. But it's just, they make do with what they can in terms of layout, right? And we see people that are a bit more down low, right? And then people who are up high. All types of different people. Actually, I'm missing something. Where am I going? I am lost. This way?
I'm so excited to find these.
Oops. The appointment guys. Oh, like Silverstein? Yeah, he does. He does. I agree. And about the next part. Yep.
Marlena's the greatest honey girl there ever was. It's an undisputed truth, and I dare anyone try and deny it.
We have the back alleys.
You were wrong, sir. Guess who got my insurance premium?
Very seedy.
Just leave me alone.
Midgar, Critty. No D at the end there. Wall Market do be like that. They make do with what they can. And boy do they make do. Okay, I have to go like all this way. And then this way. And then this way. And then this way. Back to Chocobos. Oh no. Oh, we're in the massage parlor. When they mentioned Marlene here, I was caught off guard. They're closed. Yeah, I love the aesthetic too. It's like, again, it's very rough around the edges and very Midgar slums, but at the same, regardless, Norway wins. But at the same time, very bright, fantastical, or not fantastical. You know, they flaunt what they've got. Johnny, like, they really carry forward Johnny, so I'm sure they're going to do a lot with him with part 2. Maybe carry out the plotline that was cut in the original game that never sort of came to fruition.
Not you two again. Told you once, I'll tell you 1,000 times.
The Chocobo one hits different. Like this one, Luciana?
Wait, here's out. You're one of the trio, right? I want you to get me into the audition.
Huh?
Pretty please?
Why not?
Really?
Sure. Next time an audition comes around, I'll put your name in the hat.
Next time will be too late. Can't you get me into this one?
You want in now? No can do, sweetheart. Hardy recommended Tifa, and she's got this in the bag.
How can you be so sure Corneo will pick Tifa? You never know, he might pick me.
Damn, you really do want in, don't you?
Sure do.
Then how's about we play for it? Call it, Missy. Heads or tails? Guess right, and I'll grant you your wish. Guess wrong, and you'll leave me in peace.
Heads.
Heads.
Tails, you lose. Hey, don't lose.
What is this, Hunter Hunter?
You're a pretty enough gal. Just not quite Corneo's cup of tea. But if only the Don will do, try convincing one of the other two. That's why it's a trio, not just a Mio. Now skedaddle.
Wait. Mind if I see that coin of yours?
The Marley hypothesis? What do you mean, Pretty? Or unless you're doing a little joke that went over my head.
Trick coin. I had a hunch.
That's cheating!
And that's the Wall Market way. Lesson learned.
Still cheating.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you want the good girl, but yeah, Dejobu Man. But they also got, they got Yuri Lowenthal to voice a minor character in Arcane too, right? So I don't think that's a huge indicator, but who knows? Maybe.
Let me look at the guidebook first. Don't be chicken.
There's something downright wrong with this place.
Sweet, sweet Madam M. I'm a customer for life.
So I like Madame M. It makes sense that like a business like this would be in Wall Market for obvious reasons. It's just sort of another indicator of how they've expanded upon the original. A place like this would be the first thing someone would think of, you know, setting up roots in terms of economics in Wall Market. It's a place where people go to forget, like Aerith was talking about before we entered this place, right? So yeah.
Welcome, welcome. Just the two of you? Step right up.
Okay, Critty, I will.
Now then, what manner of massage do you desire?
Say what?
Is this your first time in our establishment?
Mm-hmm.
We are a hand massage parlor. An excess of fatigue and tension can make even the simplest task a terrible strain. It is our pleasure to relieve our patrons of that tension. And what better way to seek relief than through the skilled ministrations of a professional? So now that we understand each other, what manner of massage do you desire?
We're not customers.
Then you are...
Hoping you can help us get an invite to an audition with Don...
For the love of... Say another word and I'll shove this fan right down your throat. This is the last thing I need. You're
Hand
young and stupid,
massage.
and I suppose that means you think I'll let you off easy. So, you want what? A favor? Well, here's the thing. This is a massage parlor, a respectable establishment. But if you don't require our services, then tell me! Is there any reason I shouldn't have you dragged outside and shot for wasting my valuable time? Well... Name?
Cloud Strife.
Hand.
Huh?
Give it to me! The strong, firm hands of a fighter, yet they possess a certain elegance and grace.
They really let all their silly out in this
Cloud.
section of the game.
Let's see what you're made of. After that, we'll talk.
Okay,
So, which course will it be?
which course will it be? I'm pretty sure we can afford the luxury, I think. Should I do luxury? I don't care. Luxury? Luxury, of course. Okay. Okay, I think I have the money.
Then make your way to the room in the back. And wait.
Cloud?
This exclusive treatment is reserved for
All right,
our
Josh.
well-to-do
Thanks for stopping by. See you later.
First, the hand cream. A generous coating for each and every one of your richly deserving fingers. Let's start with the tips. That's it. Relax. I'm only here to help. Oh, did that hurt?
No.
Then I'll move on to the base of the fingers. Let's see if we can't improve your circulation and get that blood flowing. No, don't fight it. Stress is poison to the body.
It is. She's right.
And finally, some gentle stimulation for the palm. No more than a touch. Just like this. Oh, what was that?
Yeah, the voice work is really good.
Pleasure. Is this how you like it? How about this? Or maybe this?
Aerith cannot have been happy to see that, or to hear that.
If that was was to your liking, do come again.
Right.
Right. Aaron Yeager parallels.
How was it?
Huh?
And he is just taken out, and you're controlling Aerith here. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he needs a second. He needs a
You're
second.
acting weird, Cloud.
I am?
No.
Really weird.
Okay.
Think you'll make a habit of it?
My guy, please.
All right,
Please.
then. I think I've seen everything I need to see.
I think she has.
So?
Tell me what you want, and we'll take it from there.
You're one of the trio, right? I want to get into Corneo's next audition.
Are you okay?
Why in the
No.
world would you want to do that? Okay.
Really?
But you cannot go dressed like that.
Huh?
I could never send Corneo a candidate wearing such a plain-looking getup. Doing so would call my position as one of the trio into question.
Is something wrong with my outfit?
Okay, so here, I think no matter what, you're in the doghouse. I'm pretty sure. Actually, I think if you say it's all right, she understands Cloud well enough to understand how much of a compliment that is. I'm pretty sure. If you say comfortable, I don't think she likes that. And I don't think she likes this either. Let's test my memory. I think she is okay with this.
It's alright, I guess.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, you.
Look, just take it outside the parlor.
Aerith
would
knows
you?
Cloud.
Sorry, we'll stop. So, what should I do about the outfit?
You just leave that to me. I'll put you in a dress so fabulous, you'll look like a million gil.
Yeah, Spirit Noodle.
So long as you can afford it.
Unfortunately.
What I said. But don't worry. It's obvious you can't afford a dress with that kind of price tag. So listen, I have an idea. There's an underground coliseum in this town. Up for a fight, Cloud? Good. Because I'm getting you into that arena. If you win the tournament, I'll transform Aerith into a drop-dead gorgeous beauty.
There any prize money?
Yes, for the person who got you in. So, what do you say?
Alright.
That's what I like to hear. You'll need this. They're already letting fighters inside. You should hurry. Run along.
So yeah, we won't get the best dress, but I guess that's just a byproduct of this being a story-focused playthrough and me not wanting to do the side quest. Sorry about that. But she does already look like a million gil. Aerith looks great in anything.
Nothing good. I wouldn't expect a fair fight in this town.
Think we can win it all?
That's one thing I'm definitely sure of.
I'm sure of
I
it.
appreciate the confidence, just don't get too cocky, okay?
So I really love that Aerith is 100%, like, she knows Cloud well enough to understand that something that he says, like when he says, it's alright, I guess, where someone who doesn't know Cloud that well would be insulted by that, she gets it. You know, she understands. First rule at Madam M. Damn it, I missed so much of the stream because I was getting my parents to watch Attack on Titan. Worthy cause, to be honest. Oop. Yeah, the fireworks and the red carpet will be sad, but I mean,
You're here to compete?
for the amount of time it would have taken, I could have done it off screen, but I don't know.
The two of you are a team?
Team?
Historial analysis grind said.
Yes, the two of us are a team. I need to get into that audition, but I won't let anyone else fight my battles for me. That includes you, mister.
So in keeping with the rest of this, well, this game, but particularly Walmart, Walmarket. In keeping with Walmarket, they go completely all out with this competition, and the house.
Down, down, down
He said it. She understands, and she even gets it as a compliment, the way she knows him. Yeah, she knows him so well. And, you know,
how many people are fighting.
that could be an indication of her just intuition, but also of... Does she know him outside of just this moment?
Just trying to focus, like you should.
You did miss it. We picked Madame M's ultimate course, the deluxe.
Hey, lovebirds, over here.
It's the most thematically potent choice, of course.
In the city that never sleeps, in the paradise of debauchery and sin, of pain and pleasure, where your every desire can be indulged for the right price. All market. To you esteemed connoisseurs of chaos and bloodshed, we bid you the warmest of welcomes. Are you sitting comfortably? For tonight, the most gruesome spectacle anywhere in Wall Market or beyond shall be yours to witness. Here in the Corneo Coliseum.
Paradise of debauchery and sin. That is a great summary.
And there's only one way to get it. Brutalize your opponents. Thoroughly and utterly. Viciously. Without mercy. Until they got it black. Only the most ruthless fighters. The savages.
Yeah, Cloud doesn't react at all, right? Or hardly, to when they see him as a couple. Thank you for the follows, guys.
Wow, this place is really something.
Sure is. Just do a quick save. And I think I have to go in here first? I don't remember. Hell of a waiting room, right? Walmart. Thanks for clipping that. But yeah, like Luciano said, definitely notable that Cloud does not bother to correct or does not react hugely overtly when people see them as a couple. Oh yeah, okay. Alright.
Oh, you again.
Johnny has been seeing the sights.
What happened to your face?
I just needed a little scratch, you know? So I signed up for the preliminaries and, well, I hope you guys realize what you're getting into.
So it's like the likes
I
of...
don't want to scare you, but if you can make a run for it, you should.
The likes of Johnny,
and Aaron, your match will begin shortly.
Leslie, and Roche
Please make your way to the gate.
will all have greater roles to play, I'm sure.
Back out now.
Expanding on them in different ways. I think Roche's could get pretty dark. I think Johnny's, I don't know, to be honest. I don't actually know the specifics of where his original plotline was going to go. And Leslie's maybe one of ascent, given how what happens with him. I'm not sure.
Ready?
And he is Dejobu Man. I've talked about this before, but he was meant to have a plot line in the original that just never came to fruition. So yeah, you're exactly right. Johnny's got a little scratch and a punch, and maybe a body slam or two. Yeah, maybe.
Try not to get yourselves killed.
Maybe a body slam or two.
For our next match, we welcome two fighters, a young couple no less. Talking about a bad date? This is their first tournament. A bad first date, and most likely their last, inexperienced as they are. Or are they? Give it up for Cloud and Aaron! You suck!
Couple? Get out of here with that lovey-dovey bullshit!
What's up with the pole? Gonna do a little dance for us, baby girl?
Disgusting, man.
Okay, now I know.
Yeah, I like them too.
One of Wall Market's own, a renowned master of beasts. Will his pets make a meal of our two challengers before our very eyes? They've already been given their appetite.
It just amps up the silliness and the occasion of it all.
brought animals?
First timers, huh? There's
The referee from Spider-Man 1.
We're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. Who will prevail in this brutal contest between man and beast? This could be over in an instant, so don't even blink. Without further ado, the fourth match of the first round begins now.
Oh, I have Fire Eye, I just realized. I dodged it? What the hell? But I like the announcers too, and I like how they're integrated into Don Corneo's, faction, so to speak. Just an integration between the different sort of subsections of Wall Market and how they interact with one another.
Here goes. Don't catch a cold. Go on. Good night. We'll make it quick. This one's for you.
Showing off a little bit, nice. And we just killed them. We just killed them. The dogs. R.I.P.
And the winners of our match are Cloud and Aaron.
By the way, guys, like I said before, in these sort of sections of the game where, whatever, I'm fighting or stuff like that, you can ask me things that don't have to do with the game if you're curious, like YouTube stuff or whatever.
Well, that's one win down.
About shows. Someone asked about Jujutsu Kaisen. I don't mind that.
What's wrong?
The rules don't make sense.
Yeah, true. But maybe it'll be better in the next match?
Nah, wouldn't bet on it. Better to expect the worst.
I've never played Ratchet and Clank. This part of this game doesn't tend to be the Coliseum. You know, it's gaudy and big and loud, but they don't make a huge, like, it's not a central part of the game.
Your match will begin shortly.
I should play Ratchet and Clank sometime.
Please make your way to the gate.
I missed out on that because I was a Nintendo boy. Favorite Tarantino movie? Inglourious Bastards, maybe? Both sides of Corneo's faction. Small-time gangster, fancy Chinese fella. Both somehow making everything sillier despite how seriously they take themselves. They do take it seriously. And that's why it's kind of endearing.
For the second match in our spectacular semifinals.
But yeah, I missed the boat. I missed the boat when it came to the any PlayStation stuff. Ratchet and Clank.
Give it up once again for Cloud and Aaron.
There's a remake of the first game on PS4, but the second and third are even better. Okay.
Their opponents, reapers of the scrapyard, thieves and killers through and through. Too criminal for common criminals, the worst of the worst. Ladies and gentlemen, check your pockets, because they may have already robbed you blind.
Their shtick must have taken a lot of practice, yeah. But they've refined it to an art, right? And these are some guys who we met on the journey towards Wall Market with Aerith, right? Least favorite Breaking Bad season? One. Definitely one. Yeah, Critty. The only one of those that I played was Spyro, and that's because some of it released on the Game Boy Advance.
It would seem that there are actually 8 members of Beck's badasses.
And I like that one. But I've never gone back to them.
Overwhelmingly stacked against this could be a real bloodbath. So I implore you, ladies and gentlemen, don't
So,
away, or you may
yeah, like I said, it was a fun game. It's been years. Like, it's been. I played Spyro when I was 11 or 12, something like that. There was a Game Boy Advance one too. I don't remember exactly. I think Season of Ice maybe, and I enjoyed it. But it's been so long that I can't remember much about it, other than generally enjoying it. Luciano says, Has your initial opinion on The Last of Us 2 changed since you played it the first time? So, wait, sorry, let me read the rest. I remember you said the narrative suffered from contradictory subplots. Contradictory subplots, I'm not sure about that, but I'm not sure if I agree with that, but I don't like the way characters are implemented in this. Sorry, I gotta actually do this properly. I don't like the way that characters and the sort of the tragedy is implemented throughout The Last of Us 2, but I mean, generally it's a very well-told story. It does what it needs to do. Essentially, it made me realize that Joel is my favorite character in the series, if that makes sense. Which should help sort of, I don't know. It cleared up a lot of things for me and why I like the first game in the first place. And I just don't, I think a lot of the things they do, a lot of the decisions they make in terms of how they present the story, how they structure the story, is not very, I don't know, effective for getting the emotions across that they wanted to get across, getting the emotions into me that they wanted to get across, if that makes sense. But, you know, I would never say it's an awful game. It's definitely well presented and well executed.
That's it. It's your turn.
Let's do this.
What's your opinion on Skylanders series? Since we're kind of on the topic of Spyro, never played it. I don't know anything about it. Sorry about that, Dragonite. Would you ever consider giving The Wire a second shot? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I want to, like, this year if I can. Joel is one of my favorite characters, period, yeah. Joel is amazing. And basically the core of why I love The Last of Us 1 as much as I do. And yeah, 1,000 Arrows, I do want to watch it again.
Well, of course he is. I did give him a massage, you know. His palm told quite the tale. He's cheated death more than a few times.
So have half the people in this town. Anyway, we're both still alive. Call it.
There you go again.
Like how this hints at a relationship between the two.
When I fall from grace, maybe
Yeah.
I'll land in your parlor once more.
Bit of a history.
That is one mistake I will never repeat.
Nothing big, but, you know, just add some detail. Makes it feel a little more alive.
Totally amazing. Andy. Next up, the big finale.
Yeah,
I thought you'd be happier.
just thinking about what we might face next.
But you know, we've made it this far. I'm sure we can handle anything they throw at us.
So, have I seen Spyro's design in Skylanders? It's actually disgusting. I have not. Probably should. I didn't even know what Skylanders was. Have you seen Serial Experiments Lane? Yep, it's good. Not really my thing, but it was good. Best boss incoming.
Please make your way to the gate.
Ominous moans from Andy. Yeah. I like Andrea Rodea. I think he's great. He's a big part of why I love Wall Market. And yes, this is the best boss, of course. Oh, and look at this. I like the little detail as you get commemorative flowers as you rise up the ranks. Nice touches.
Man, you proved me wrong. You guys are pretty good. It's the final match. You good to go?
It does, Guile. After the first one, you get like a little tiny bouquet on a table. After this one, it grows into this big one. It's not very gradual, but it does increase as you win. Will you ever watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? Oh, Dragonite, I've watched it all. I've watched every adapted part.
I've got a lot of money riding on you two. Win it for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, our time together is almost over. Tonight's thrilling Tornado Cup, filled with unprecedented upsets and drama, has only one match.
Do you like the series, Dragonite? You a fan of it?
We're just as disappointed as you are. But ladies and gentlemen, all good things must come to an end. So let's celebrate by getting so
The goat.
loud, they'll hear us up on the plane.
Thank you for the follows, guys.
Come on! Once more, the sweethearts who surprised us with upset after spectacular upset. The power couple with the boundless love for bloodshed. The champions of Madame M, Cloud, and Aerith!
Nice, Dragonite. I love the little glance shared between them there.
Yeah! Come on now! Come on! You can do better than that! And now, 5-time winners of the Corneo Cup! Murder machines with countless kills to their name! Along with a handful of aimings! The deadly duo that takes out the trash with a vengeance! The Electric Executioners! Chocobo Sam's champions! Cuddy and Sleepy!
Thoughts on Trigun? I think it's okay. I think it's, I think the messages towards the end, which I've forgotten a little bit, get carried through well. I remember them being executed well, but it wasn't very engaging for me personally. Vash is good, and the Deuteragonist, whose name escapes me, is good as well. He's my favorite character. Nice, Dragonite. Love and peace. Damn, I don't have Cure on Aerith. Whoops. Whoopsie daisy.
Here goes.
Oh, Wolfwood, yes. Yes, Wolfwood. Wolfwood's really good.
Too much? One more shot. Get him.
Yeah, the church dude, Wolfwood, yep.
This one's for you. Buckle up.
Is that it?
Here he comes. One more shot.
Trigun continues in manga. The anime isn't the end. Gotta read it myself. Yeah, I knew about that part. I was satisfied with what I had watched with Trigun, but yeah, definitely more. Also, the writer of Kekai Sensen, right?
I got you. Going in.
Oh crap! A lot of people say Part 6 is bad, but I think it's alright. It just needs a few fixes to the pacing, and some of the villains aren't memorable at all. However, the ending is masterful. Nice. I enjoyed what I saw of Part 6 so far of the anime, the 12 episodes or whatever.
Oh, you're taking this rather well. I was looking forward to a little temper tantrum.
I have seen Garzy's Wing, Jotaro.
When you bet it all on a toss, sometimes you get burned by Lady Luck.
Chocobo Sam's a cheeseball, man.
You're right, of course. Even if they are both the same.
Later.
And now, I believe I have a prize to collect.
Sorry. The madam will have to wait. The Don's demanding that we tack on one more match, it seems.
What?
If they win out, then you get paid in full.
Now hold on just a goddamn minute.
His call, not mine.
Now that that's over, we can go save Tifa.
So we'll head back to Madame M's, get you changed, and then it's off to Corneo's.
Right.
In a perfect world.
Sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but you still have one fight left.
What do you mean?
The crowd loved your show a little too much. People were placing hefty bets, much heftier than you can possibly imagine. Corneo's going to milk this for as much as he can.
Meaning what?
You face and defeat Corneo's fighter of choice, and only then will you be declared winners of the tournament.
Hey, that wasn't the deal.
Don't you think I know that? Ah! You greedy bastard! Scum-sucking piece of shit-festering asshole!
I love her too.
But that's the way it is. Corneo's the one who makes the rules around here. But if you win this match, Corneo will have to accept your victory. And the crowd will make sure he does.
So this is the last one?
I sure hope so.
Jay Mixta, I have watched the first episode of Medica Box, and then just didn't continue. I don't know why. I thought it was pretty alright. I was down to continue, but for some reason I just didn't. Is Kekai Sensing good? Absolutely. It's a really interesting story with regards to the main theme for how it integrates presentation and style and approach and tone with the main character to form a really sort of cohesive whole that's like an underlying semblance of logic in the midst of tons of insanity. It's really good. The first season is my favorite, but second season has more of a character focus, and that's good too. It's in my honorable mentions on my top 100. I think it's really good. Now the goat will come. Yeah, I'm not a fan with it either, Dragon Knight. It's, it's good to be able to binge it when you want, but the weekly hype there's definitely something to be said for the weekly hype when it comes to JoJo's, right? And see, now we have more accolades, Guile. It was very different, yeah. I prefer Season 1, but I still think Season 2 has some nice character work and merits and world building.
Watching you guys fight gave me goosebumps. Hope your next match is even better than the last.
Stands for Moomy.
Ready to kick ass? It's not even about the money anymore, man. I just want you guys to win it all. Show them what you got.
I love this too. This more than anything, well, maybe not more than anything, but shows how much of a fan they were of the original game and how much they were willing to take things there and just, again, the full 9 yards, right? For people who don't know, who haven't played the original had a infamous enemy called, it was a house. You fight a house. And, well, you'll see in a second.
Like no other. And we shared your disappointment.
Best portrayal of New York, yes.
We told you that it was coming to an end. But nobody felt it more keenly.
I'll answer in a second, Luciano.
Who has decided that a bonus match is in order. Participating in this match will be this evening's leading lights, the dynamic duo that has crushed all competition thus far.
The setting is my favorite part of Kekai Sensen, if I had to put it down to one thing. Very much like the setting is one of my favorite parts of Durarara. Well, and the direction too.
Their opponent, buried in the bowels of the Coliseum. An unspeakable horror, long imprisoned, set free tonight for your entertainment! The secret star of Don Corneo's stellar stable! Enter
The Hell House. The Hell House. Yeah, Jotaro, it would be Claire or Lad would be my favorite character in Baccano.
It's just a house.
That's no ordinary house.
the manifestation of fury.
It's gonna kick my ass in easy, probably.
Have you ever seen a fight more incredible, more epic? You have not. No, sir, you have not. They'll be singing songs about tonight for generations to come. Keep your eyes glued to the action, ladies and gentlemen. The Cup's final battle begins now.
So Luciano, I am completely checked out of Manchester United right now. I don't think they have any sense of what they're doing, any sense of direction. I think the roster's moves are all stupid. I'm just not a fan of anything they're doing, and they're not giving me any reason to want to invest myself right now. So I'm all in on the Raptors at the moment, and I don't have any hope for this season. None whatsoever. There's no direction to anything.
Let's do this.
Oops.
My turn.
Like, I don't know. You think they're turning a corner, and then all of a sudden, they just don't know what they're doing. I'm tired of it.
So it's my turn? This one's for you!
It's such a contrast. My two favorite sports teams are the Raptors and Manchester United. One is run so well. The other, I mean... Oh shit. God damn it.
Lend me your strength. I think we're almost done. That'll do!
Wait.
It's almost disappointing.
I don't think they will reach top 4,000 arrows.
Not yet.
Like, Tottenham have got it together.
Ladies and gentlemen,
What the?
look out!
Go on!
Just try and call this house warming by now. We dare
Look up that domicile.
One more shot!
This is Final Fantasy, Freddy.
the Hell House is showing us its true paint job. Horrible, Aerith, and Cloud, and Death.
I've been dying to see you.
Tottenham are looking too solid for me to think that United can make top 4.
Your coats, folks. You're gonna want to buckle up for this. We've got the Queen of Ice herself coming in for a meet treat.
Let the winds caress you.
Woo! That frosty stare could strike a man dead where he stands. Maybe I'll be the lucky victim.
This one's for you! One more shot!
I imagine this is what happens when you don't pay your mortgage.
Go on!
This isn't what happened, you mean? I mean, this isn't what happens, you mean?
Our couple's in for another
I thought it was.
round of musical tag.
And catch! Why don't you lead the way?
Another barrage of chaos coming in hot, folks. Will this turn the tide against us?
Get him! This one's for you!
Coming here being more disappointed than... What does that mean? Maguire deserves Player of the Year. Oh, yeah.
Here goes!
I didn't know that, Luciano. That is so cool. That is really cool. I'm glad that happened, though. Did Scarlet think this is how urban combat works? Was it intended as a sort of ambush predator mech? There are lots of ways you could interpret how this came to be, right? All of which I think have merit. Scarlet is kind of an idiot. So... Okay, yeah. Can you DM it to me on Twitter, Luciano?
Deal with that.
So it's my turn?
Hey, great. There will be no coming back from this one.
Thanks, Luciano. In the next game, I want Triceratops, Tank, and Gonzaga. Bring... Gungaga, you mean?
This one's for you!
Bring all the silly enemies. Is that James from Pokemon?
I won't let you down.
God damn it.
Go on.
What else we got?
I've got to push myself further.
It does sound like James sometimes, yeah. Oh, I gotta heal. It's also Kaiba, yeah.
I'll show you what I can do. And catch. One more shot. Lend me your strength.
They're really good at deciding. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Does anyone know who the voice actor for these guys actually are? Because they do sound familiar, kind of uncanny.
It's your turn.
Yugi boy. Oh, that's Pegasus. My bad.
I'm coming. This one's for you. Get him.
Really? I didn't know they were named Musashi and Kojiro. That's crazy.
And catch. One more shot.
This housewarming party is putting their love to the test.
Go on.
Oh, he's tossing dressers at me. I had no idea. That is crazy. I used a buff. Her limit lets you do that, Zandy Lazy.
Here it comes.
What's this? The old switcheroo? As usual.
Bless them with your love and grace.
It is very near Automata, and I'm on easy. But yeah, it's got similar vibes, action RPG vibes, with this huge ass mech thing.
You can do it.
So I think I need to attack the, yeah. Yeah, it's a bit long for me too, but we're getting there. Thanks for the link, Luciana.
I'll show you what I can do. This one's for you. Don't catch a cold. That's it. One more shot. Put it on ice.
Their attacks sure seem to lack a punch, don't they?
Yeah, I know. His basic attacks really do nothing for it. But, we're getting there, right?
Keep it together.
I'll take care of them.
Should have intentionally got the game over for the announcer dialogue. Oh, really? I don't know what it sounds like. Or what they say.
I won't let you down. Let the winds caress you.
This insolent domicile will know it has its curtain foreclosed. I will not be harassed.
Savor that healing wind. Let it wash over you, restore you in inside and out.
Get ready.
Go
on. This one's for you. Go on.
I would be getting destroyed if this was not in in easy.
And catch.
My turn.
That had to hurt, folks. Are these moves even legal?
Time to burn.
Thoughts on the gambling villain in Kekai Sensen? Plays the role well. Don't really have much to say about them, but I mean, they do their job.
Don't overdo it.
I'm coming.
The one from episode 3, right?
Why don't you lead the way?
Let's do this.
Yeah, I'll look up the game over after.
Anyone can you feel the dog love? Because I did. Talk about selfless. Got a little bit.
No escape.
Whoopsies.
I'll take care of
Are
him.
these moves even legal?
There's a lot of voice actors in the minor characters that are uncredited or hard to track down. Patrick Warburton's son Talon is apparently a gate guard. Yeah, I heard him actually. Yeah, I heard that. It sounds a lot like him, right? There we go. There we go. We got it.
We did it.
Needed more Breaking Bad actors? Yeah. You can never have enough of them, right?
Cloud and Aaron!
What a finish.
The-
That boy.
Awfully rare you showing an interest in someone. What will you do?
Okay, so I think I'll see if the frame rates or the drop frames calm down in a little bit, because that was a very intensive fight that I might have screwed with it. After the stream, I'm going to look into it, whatever the problem is, and try and fix it. But if they don't calm down, I might end here, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. How's it going, Tracer? So, yes, the audience did sing the victory theme at them, and Era did save the people even if they're awful. But she kind of needed to, right?
I've been looking for you two. So Madam M wanted me to give you a
How's it going,
message.
Tracer? How are you?
She says you guys did pretty damn good, and that you should swing by her shop when you're done here. Got it? I was also hoping you might be interested in a few more matches here at the Coliseum. Big events like the Corneo Cup are pretty sporadic, but there's always action if you want to get a piece.
And then we go back to the under. Okay. The gatekeeper got... Yeah, he did.
Huh? You want to take me up on my offer now?
Okay, no.
Cool.
We're not going to do that. Good for you, Tracer. Thank you, thank you. Barrett does hum it a lot. I think that might just be a fan service thing. I'm not sure.
Out of curiosity, would you live topside if you could?
Chadley.
Cloud,
I will go wherever my research leads me, but the success of my endeavors rests entirely upon you. Your assistance would be much appreciated. Cloud!
Creeping, yep.
I've come up with the most fascinating theory.
No. Sure. You know what? Sure. Chadley.
You're here. Good. I have everything I need to get started. Just one thing before we do. You're the Cloud, right? Cloud the Merc. Well, that's what you call yourself, I'm told. But what have you actually done for the people of Sector 5, hmm? There's this little thing called karma. How a person treats others dictates how they themselves should be treated. And believe me, I'll get you the dress that you earned. All right, now that that's out of the way, once you change, you won't be able to leave town. Are you sure you're ready? All right then, let's get started.
Beauty does take a lot of work and preparation.
Far more than you'd know. In the meantime,
Especially for
let me
Aerith.
see, let me think.
Well, you could also say it's
things you can only do without your friend.
effortless for
Now's your
her,
chance
but
to get out and have some fun. I can tell you're already beginning to feel at home here. Though being so new to it, I assumed you still wouldn't know how to enjoy yourself properly.
a new FF7 game.
So I went and had a chat with Sam.
Is it the mobile one,
He said
Tracer?
he'd be happy to help you out.
Hey, no one asked you to do that.
But there's so much you don't know. This is the perfect opportunity for you to learn the ways of the world and man the hell up. And that's enough of that. Aerith, come with me.
Oh boy, I can't wait to see the dress.
The dress is part of it, sure. But we'll also need to do something about that plain Jane makeup and hairdo. This is gonna take some work.
Well, I'll see you later, Cloud.
Peek, and I'll poke out your eyes.
I have not, Chorus. I've not played any World of Warcraft at all. I like the way Madam M words what this part of the game means for Cloud. Yeah. No peeking. I can fix her. Chadley has the same color as Sephiroth, and you constantly find him creeping. Coincidence? I think not. I don't think so either. I thought the Chadley conspiracy was well known at this point. Any MMOs of any sort. Xenoblade brought me into the sort of battle system and gameplay flow for MMOs, but right now I'm playing FF14. So I'm playing I'm playing FF14 at the moment, Chorus.
Let me see if I've got this straight. You ditched your lady friend and fellow champion to have a boys' night out in Wall Market? Kidding. If I know the madam, and I do, I can see why. There's no denying you're skilled with a sword. But when it comes to damn near anything else, I can't help but have my doubts. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But then there's nothing wrong with expanding your horizons neither. Seeking new experiences. Knowing the ways of this here world will help you to better protect her while you're in it. Reckon I got a few solid gigs for you. What do you say? You game?
Yeah, why not?
That's the spirit. You have yourself a grand time tonight, Mr. Merc.
Okay, burning thighs. Okay, so guys, I think I'm actually gonna stop right around here. I'm really sorry about that, but the frames keep happening. I need to see what the problem is, and you know, it's bothering me. It only started happening when I started playing the game, so it might be something with something going on with my computer. Not sure, but I do want to see what's going on, and also it doesn't make for a good viewing experience for frames to be getting dropped all the time, right? Okay, go live then, Critty. We'll do the dance next time. Also tomorrow, because like I said, I am streaming tomorrow to do my top 100. I may do a bit of the game tomorrow just to make up for this if I can find out what the problem is. Sorry again, I don't know. I've changed absolutely nothing, so maybe my internet's not working properly. Something with my computer, not sure. But I'll try and troubleshoot. And thanks for stopping by. Again, I'll try to make up for it. Maybe I'll play a little of this tomorrow or more of it next week than I would have otherwise. So sorry about the short FF7 portion. But yeah, tomorrow at the same time as it was today, 9:30 a.m. Eastern, where we're going to be going through the top 100 again. And we'll be doing at least 5. So for sure, we're doing the top 100 an hour and a half or so, maybe 2 hours. If I have some time, we'll continue this a bit more just to make up for it. But that's a maybe. We'll see how it goes. There might be something updating. Yeah, maybe. I'll see what's going on. Anyways, sorry again, and hold on. We gotta see if Critty's got his stream up here. So I saved, right? And let's see what we got here. All right, Tracer, thank you. If I do, I'll for sure mention it. Yeah, okay, see you tomorrow, Turtle Man. I'll quickly raid Critty in a second. I think he's playing Sekiro today. I think today's Sekiro. But either way, again, tomorrow there'll be a top 100 stream. So yeah, I'll check the updates for sure, Tracer. Sorry to end right when you came in. But yeah, Critty's playing some Sekiro, so you can join in that if you'd like. And yeah, you too as well, Vehement. Thank you guys for stopping by and sticking with it. And sorry again. Hopefully this won't happen very often. It only happened when I started the game, so something with my computer, I'm sure. Yeah.